Now you're on.
Okay.
We're on now.
Just audio, though. Giving people
She's
a little
not
extra.
just blonde, she's super blonde today. Not Annie Frey, we're talking about Hannah. Watch.
And any second.
Any second now.
There
she is!
It is like, I don't even have eyebrows.
No, you're a ghost.
Hey, fun fact, Hannah doesn't have eyebrows in real life either. So if you've ever met her in person, she just draws them on.
Partially true.
Some people do that.
Oh, I know.
I do that. This whole beard's drawn on.
Why didn't you do a better job? Just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why do I choose white here?
Yeah.
You get drawn on.
Makes you look rich. I keep telling you,
That's
man.
true.
You
That's
get older,
true.
you get gray hair, you
Yeah.
look richer.
Big show today?
Keith Fernandez look.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Except for the just for men part.
I know. It's the opposite of Keith Fernandez.
YouTube poll today. Will the GOP's commitment to America make a positive difference for Republicans in the midterm? I didn't write it down on the show sheet, but the answers are either yes or no. And last time I did that, I got in trouble, didn't I, Hannah?
For what?
Because I wrote it down there on a non-yes or no question.
Oh.
I don't remember
And
that.
then Hannah went, Brad.
You put yes or no down, and it was a non-yes
Yeah,
or no.
non-yes or no question.
What color is the sky? Yes,
Yes
or
or
no?
It is none.
I'm excited for 125 because we're going to have 3 guests in studio. Let me share who they are.
Yeah, they're going to be the St. Clair County GOP candidates. We'll have
Most
Wavey,
of the GOP count.
well, most of them, yeah. We'll have Wavey Lester, who's running for the Illinois State Senate in the 57th district
Against Christopher Belt.
against Christopher Belt. Then Ashley Hunsaker, she's going to be in.
She's great.
She's going to be running for the House District 113
Against Jay Hoffman.
against Jay Hoffman. And then Kevin Schmidt, who would be running in my district, the 114th.
Air comfort.
And
In theory, here's a little behind the scenes stuff right now. We're off the air.
yeah, we're off the air, but not for
We
you.
don't know. If the lights tell us we're off.
Okay.
Keep going. You got 15 seconds,
Oh,
and then
okay.
I'm going to take it over, and then
Okay.
I was
And
to
then
say,
we'll-
you
All
got
right.
a lot.
Watch the corner screen for this next 60 seconds.
corner screen.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, big deal.
Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. The air outside is getting chillier. Maybe you have allergies. My throat got scratchy and my voice is cracking. This is all part of the transition that takes forever in St. Louis from the hot weather to the cool weather. Now, Air Comfort Service is there for you to make sure that you're in your comfort zone through all the ups and downs in the temperature. 314-513-0091 is the number to put in your phone right now, because maybe you don't know how the furnace is working at this point in time. Maybe you're not 100% sure if it's going to be able to last yet one more season. But you want to make sure you have the right people to call if you find out that it isn't. 314-513-0091. Nobody can afford right now to be running their furnace or their air conditioner any more than they have to. Those energy prices, they're very high. Make sure that the unit in your house, the HVAC system you have working for you, is doing the job it's supposed to. Air Comfort Service, they're the best people in town to get that job done for you. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com. All right, it's yours.
It's back to us. Yay!
Hi.
So we
It's
said
just me.
that Kevin Schmidt would be in here for representing the GOP in the 114th
What does that mean?
district. What's what mean?
The comment.
I don't know. I didn't see it. Ryan, what do you got for Wiggins America?
Annie Frey, you're a national treasure. Wiggins.
No, wait,
Don't
sorry.
worry about it.
Yeah, there. Wiggins is Nick Cage.
Oh, sweet.
I know. I know. You see what I'm saying there?
You know what's crazy about
I
Nick
am a
Cage?
fan of Nick Cage.
I am too.
So.
But he will take any movie now. Did you realize that?
Because he's poor.
He was completely broke. And if he gets offered a movie, if he can fit in the schedule, he'll do it.
Think you do the Annie Frey show?
This is why you're Nick Cage.
Depending on the money.
I'll give him some Scooters coffee.
Okay. You might do it.
You
Yeah.
give Ryan a microphone and he'll take it. Like I'll speak.
What were we talking about right before that?
You're Wiggins America today.
Oh, yeah. Please, go ahead.
No, I'm just asking you. What are you doing?
We
I don't
are-
even know what you're doing. Did
You
you send it?
Yeah.
I didn't read it.
You heard that. No, Aaron's not going to hear that. I am looking at some of the sort of mental health aspects and, quantifiable statistics of where we're at as a country in the pandemic, and just asking some questions about, where are we at on the timeline? Are we out of it? Do we have more to go?
Wait, you're seriously going to talk about beers?
Not VAERS, the database.
Beer. Brad
That's
suggested.
spelled VAER.
I veer. No, the only text message I saw was beer ? From Brad, and you saying veer. That's all I saw. You're not talking about the database. No, this would be one that I would nix.
No, he's not talking.
And I
about
say
the
that because I would say I don't want to go down that road for the purposes of the show, but yet here we are talking about it on YouTube.
Yeah, just on YouTube. VEER, as in veer.
Oh, I know, but you wrote beer.
Yes.
I don't
auto-corrected to beer.
All right. I have to do a real show now.
All right.
And you and me together will find out about Wiggins America at 12:45.
Don't get me wrong, I love ladies. I mean, they rip my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady. Keep your voice down. Your phone is listening to the radio. I'm not there.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Sunday. Glad that you were here today. You might notice my voice is a little scratchy. I feel completely fine. My throat doesn't hurt in any way, shape, or form. But this weekend, my voice decided to take at least half a day off. So I'm pushing through. Happy to be here with you. Like I said, feel great. Nothing's wrong. Just the voice. Anyway, regardless, man, the news just keeps coming, doesn't it? The inflation problem that we're experiencing in this country. I turn on the news today. I'm watching the news and taking it in. Doesn't it just kind of feel like all of a sudden everybody puts their hands in the middle and says, okay, we're talking about this now. And you wonder, like, how much of the decision to change the topic on the national scene, at least news media, be it what the cable news channels talk about, and then that does tend to have a trickle effect down into what other more non-traditional media sources will discuss. Seems as though the narrative has changed a little bit when it comes to the economy. President Biden got the Inflation Reduction Act passed, and good for him for doing something to fight back against inflation. Round of applause for the Biden administration. We celebrated. We had a party. James Taylor sang a really, really sad song. Their choice. Strange. Yep. And then everyone's like, wait, this didn't reduce inflation. Womp womp. That's kind of the arc of it. They got the press bump out of getting the Inflation Reduction Act through, and then you hear a bunch of people in the Biden administration coming at you and saying, oh, yeah, we're going to help you out. You spend a few $1,000s on making your home energy more efficient. We're going to give you some of your tax dollars back. Excuse me? That's like the epitome of peeing on my leg and telling me it's raining. I'm not that stupid, and I would like for you to stop. Let me try to solve my problems for myself. Charles Payne was talking on Harris Faulkner show in Focus, and Faulkner Focus, I should say. And Charles Payne has the ability to really speak directly to an issue. And when we listen, if you tune in the news media, the news media that you pay attention to and consume because you feel like you trust the direction that they're headed, you feel like you kind of know what you're going to get, and you're just going to find out what the details are today. That kind of becomes exhaustive. That kind of becomes, it's so predictable that it's almost like a drug. Like you just need another hit. It's not really good for you, but you got to tune in because you just got to you got to remember that you're the good guy and the other people are the bad guy. Is that, you ever get that vibe? Well, what's being done? Who's willing to talk about the real issues? Who's willing to talk about actual solutions as opposed to the bad guy on the other side, and making sure that at the end of the day, whatever you take away from this segment or from this pundit, that you understand, hey, they're the bad guy and we're the good guy. But more importantly, they're the bad guy. That's the key here that most people in political silly season want you to understand. It's exhausting for your emotions because they prey upon your emotions And in the midst of preying upon your emotions, they completely ignore the fact that you've got a brain in your head. That's a problem. That's something that is purposefully constructed. It is dismissive of your own ability to navigate these issues, to even identify the issues as problematic for you and your household. That's the goal. That's the plan. And they're pretty good at it. The closer you get to midterms, the closer we get to the point where we understand that elections are imminent, 43 days from today, the more that your emotions should step into the equation, where your brain has been taking in the capacity of this is happening and that's happening, and who's doing what to best prop up the American people with the American people, not for the American people. That should be the day to day, and then you get closer to a midterm election, and it's happening 43 days away, and then your emotion sets in because you care, you're passionate about it. There's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people who are incredibly passionate about the president, former President Trump, and his campaign and his loss. And boy, I saw quite a lot of that after Hillary ran and lost herself. But the question is, when it comes to an election, you got to start with the thoughts in the head and then subsidize it with the feelings in your heart. And hopefully, the feelings in your heart is what motivates you to go out and do something, to be involved, not necessarily to run. You don't have to be the person who says, yes, it's going to be me. I'm going to be the one who takes on this challenge and I will win this seat and I will represent the people well. Although, if that is you, good. We have 3 people coming in the studio at 1:25 who want to represent St. Clair County in Illinois in a way that they have not been represented in quite some time. We have people in St. Clair County who have I know you're listening to this show on a regular basis, and you kind of feel like St. Clair County is a lost cause. You wanna make sure that when you have the opportunity in front of you to make a difference, that you step up and you do something about it. And it comes around every 2 years, and you think, "Gosh, man, it would be so great if we just had the opportunity." You have that opportunity right now. It's here. Sam Page, you got the opportunity to set him aside with a different option. In Missouri, Roy Blunt is retiring. I think Roy Blunt has represented the state of Missouri well, but I think that the state of Missouri has evolved in the time that Roy Blunt has been in the Senate. And I think Eric Schmidt is a fantastic choice for people in this state to elect him to represent them in a true and honest way in the United States Senate. How many different people do we have in running for congressional districts that have the opportunity to greatly improve the constituents' lives just by giving them back their freedom and their liberty? That's the essence of what we're talking about here. Latoya Greenwood represents the 114th district in St. Clair County. Kevin Schmidt's a Republican, a businessman, a local businessman who would like to take her place and give people in the 114th State House district an opportunity to know what it would be like to be represented by somebody else. Latoya Greenwood has been in office for some time. She is somebody who is very loyal to the Democratic Party. She assumed office in 2017. She's looking to be reelected once again. And she in her time spent since 2017, the areas that she represents, have they gotten better or have they gotten worse? Does she promise the status quo and threaten that if you were to elect the Republican, the big bad Republican in Kevin Schmidt, that things would go dramatically south? I mean, the district is not excelling, and it's incredibly corrupt. If you're in the 114th district, choose somebody new. And if Kevin Schmidt doesn't do the job, choose somebody new in 2 years. But the job's not getting done right now. Ashley Hunsaker is running in the 113th against Jay Hoffman. Jay Hoffman is she's gonna tell you about this. along with Kevin Schmidt at 125 when they're in studio with us. But these are people who are establishment Democrat Republicans in the state of Illinois that will take a very convenient vote against their party from time to time so that they don't have to get campaigned against on those specific issues. But you'll pay attention. They're never going to be the deciding no vote against the Democratic Party. Jay Hoffman has not represented the 113th State House District well, and you deserve a different opportunity. You deserve a choice and a chance, and you have it in Ashley Hunsaker. Wavey Lester is running as a Republican in the Illinois Senate District 57 against Christopher Bell, who, from what I understand, has a lot of interesting questions surrounding his time in office and his candidacy now. Wavey Lester is a wonderful person. He served his country. He came to this area via Scott Air Force Base, and he has chosen to step in and represent his conservative values as a Black Republican. And he's done this in the face of people who want to call him names because they care more about the color of his skin than how he came to understand his own political experience. We're going to talk to Wavey Lester at 125 in studio for the rest of that hour. All of these people are stepping in to try to make a difference in people's lives, but they need to have a fighting chance. They need to be able to step in and get your support and move forward. Charles Payne was addressing the issues that you know that are taking place every single day in your life, and you've been talking about them, you've been feeling it, you've been experiencing it long before anybody on the news told you that this is the case. Charles Payne identifies that very well.
You know, they're debating now the term recession. A lot of people are going to be in a depression. A lot of American families, I hate to even talk about it like that but it's true. You know, I was down in D.C. at a football game this weekend, and everywhere I went, people are like, is it going to get worse? Every single, dozens of people asking the same question.
We're talking about whether we're in a recession. There are a lot of people who feel like they're in a depression. That's pretty frightening stuff. And you know it, and you don't need anyone to tell you, oh, that's not what we're calling it. We don't give a crap what you call it. Fix it. Get out of the way. Take big government, set it aside, and give this country, or we'll have to take this country back to the people instead of big government program after big government program after big government program that has to be paid for by the very people who are supposed to be helped by these programs. They take your money, they hand it back to you, and they ask you to say thank you. It's unbelievable.
And by the way, the dream of American home is gone. The dream of owning a home.
I'm reading now that most people won't be able to afford a home. It'll take them 20 years to save up for a down payment. What used to take them less than 10.
Just the same house you could have bought at the beginning of the year. And so it's over for most Americans.
That's terrifying. That's not building back better. The Biden administration is breaking down the American dream. And I think a lot of people would be very, very correct in wondering, are you doing this on purpose? Is it going to get
There's
worse?
not going to be a soft landing. He more or less admitted that last week, which is when the bottom really fell out this market. And one of the problems, again, and I just say this is why I go back to the White House, the Federal Reserve wants to stop the economy from growing. They want to stop inflation.
Then Biden's got to stop printing cash.
Right. You can't have both forces at each other. You can't have another trillion dollars coming in for student loan forgiveness, the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. You got $1 trillion coming in, and the Fed is trying to stop people from spending money. They can't coexist.
He's right. The money that is being spent is your money. And it's making things worse. And economists have been saying that this is what is going to happen. There are people out there who have spoken on this issue and said, this is what's going to happen. And they don't listen because I don't think that our goals are the same. Stephen Moore will be with us in about 45 minutes or so to talk about this very issue. Charles Payne spoke more on the current recession. He drops the D word and says depression. And the rest of us are sitting around here going, what happens next? What are we preparing for here on a personal basis? We're not even halfway done with this president's administration. We're not even halfway through his first term. How bad could it get? And what do I need to do right now to make sure that my family is going to be protected from the Biden administration? How do I need to insulate myself from the Democratic Party and President Biden's administration? How do I need to make sure that the hard work that I'm putting in to providing for my family, the hard work that my husband is putting in to provide for our family, how do I make sure that that's enough? And that President Biden doesn't destroy what we're trying to build on our own as we move through the rest of his presidency? I'm not 100% sure what the answer is to that question, but it's at 105. I'm going to ask even more of that and find out what he has to say. The YouTube live chat poll today, would love for you to go give us a vote there. Well, the GOP's commitment to America, we covered that last week. They put together a like Newt Gingrich-esque contract with America. This is what I need to know from you. Is the commitment to America by the Republican Party going to make a positive difference for Republicans in the midterm? It's a yes or no question. Go give us a vote there and let us know what you think in the comments. We'll be back with more on this. We'll come back this way.
And taxes to run and dishes are broken. How did we get into this mess?
This is the Andy Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Andy.
I can't just let you go. Oh, baby.
97.1 St. Louis radio destination for information with perspective. It's where St. Louis and beyond comes to talk. Right here, right now. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
The Diamond Shop is a destination jewelry shop. It's in Clayton. They've been around since 1910, and you don't get to be around for that long without doing something right. Well, first and foremost, the most beautiful jewelry around. If you are looking for something special, if you're looking for something particular, I want you to understand quickly that the Diamond Shop is there to meet those needs. I want you to understand that the staff that they have working for you, creating for you, shopping for you, these are the people who you want to be on your side because they are on your side. They can understand what it means when you come in and you have a budget and you want something beautiful, you want something that's going to last forever, and you want something that's special. They have those things at the Diamond Shop. They also buy gold. They do appraisals. They have watches. They have jewelry. They have men's jewelry. They've got whatever you need, and they also make custom jewelry. Become a VIP by going online to thediamondshop.net and find out how you can get special offers and great savings. All the information on the Diamond Shop in Clayton online at thediamondshop.net.
Hi, my name is Curtis Marks with Complete Auto Body and Repair. And out of our newest location in Cottleville, for any new customers, simply come into any of our 6 locations and ask us to pay the first $50, and we will. That's right. That means brakes, suspension, alignments, air conditioning, even our auto body work. Please come see our team or visit us at CompleteAB.com. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh, yeah, and service.
We need something in the car.
My name is Dr. Brooke Mello. I'm not a political figure. I'm a survivor. When I was a kid, I was trafficked, drugged, and raped. The traffickers forced me to have multiple abortions. My mother been notified she could have intervened, called the police, and saved me from years of exploitation. Last year, I told my story to General Assembly and Governor Pritzker, pleading with them to preserve the right of Illinois' loving parents to know if their daughters are about to undergo an abortion. Governor Pritzker ignored my cry. He took away the very thing that could have saved me and is needed to protect those being exploited today. Parental rights that protect our kids should never be in doubt. This is personal to me, and I hope it's important to you when you vote this November.
Paid for by people who play by the rules pack.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the Clear Path Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
And look, I know people on the left don't want to say the name Trump, but you said before we had a mini recession at the end of the pandemic that we bounced back from.
At the beginning of the pandemic,
quickly.
we had the fastest bear market in history. We saw this with the swiftest recession in history. The bottom fell out of our economy, and guess what? We had the fastest turnaround in the history of America. And it was all mostly organic. Yeah, we did save, they obviously printed money to help people when you stopped them from working, but we let Americans be Americans.
We let Americans be Americans, man. When you know that there are some extenuating circumstances that have led to where we are in our economy right now. Do you remember people talking about the V-shaped recovery? That was to suggest that we were going to plummet down because of the pandemic, because we shut everything down, because we kept people from working and we decided to pay them with money that we didn't have by money that they weren't making in their paychecks to take out for tax dollars. And then it goes through the government and they hand it back to you and they're like, here you go. Say thank you. It's like what I say when I talk to Molly. Say thank you. When Molly walks up to me and hands me something, she says, thank you. It's hard to teach a 50, like please and thank you are big in my house. Very important issues. She says, I think she says more, but it kind of sounds like mom. Like if she wants something, she points out, she's like, Ma! Like it's this shriek, this holler, and it's like, Ma! It sounds like she's saying more. So we keep going, say please. And when she hands us something, we say thank you to like teach her to say thank you. But she just says thank you when she gives it to you. Because that's what, when she gives us something, we say thank you. So that's what she says now. I'm struggling with it. The government wants you to say thank you. The government wants you to get your money back from them after they take it from your paycheck. And then they want you to go, okay, yeah, all right. Then thanks for helping us. Thank you for being there for me. That's what good government is. Wrong-o. Get out of the way, just like Charles Payne was talking about, just like he was saying. The biggest competitor that business has right now is its own government.
And this right here, you got a war on business. You got a war on success. You put green energy and the green utopia above the average American. It's a different circumstance, and that's why it's so desperate right now.
It's a different circumstance. And here's the question, and this is what I'm going to look forward to talking to Stephen more about at 105. Listen to what Charles says.
Because this is so volatile right now, so dramatically moving to the downside that will be oversold at some point, and all of these things. Listen, the reason the Fed wants to do this is that people get broke, and when you're broke, the Fed will walk away.
Borrow money. Oh my goodness. It's so cyclical.
It's sad to say,
right.
But once we lose 1 million or 2 jobs, then they think their job will be done.
Charles Payne,
yeah.
The truth hurts.
It's sad.
But we all want to know the truth.
The saddest part, though, is it didn't have to be this bad.
That's exactly right. It didn't have to go this way. It didn't have to be like this. And the way that the economists fix this problem is to make some people go broke. People are going to have to lose their jobs. Didn't have to be this way. I have yet to, the only thing that indicates to me that the Biden administration understands that inflation is a problem is that they named their energy bill the Inflation Reduction Act. It doesn't reduce inflation, but what it does do is it acknowledges to people on the outside who aren't going to take the time to read the bill. And good grief, those bills are so huge that a lot of times the people who vote on them don't even read them. When you have the administration name their climate and energy bill the Inflation Reduction Act, what that means is that they know that it's an issue to you and they want you to know and believe that they're paying attention. But really, it takes very little effort to dig just a little bit under the surface to find out what they care about. And what they care about is not what you care about. And if they are elected to represent you and what they care about is not what you care about, then they don't represent you and they don't respect you. They actively disrespect you. The people who are elected right now and who have voted yes on this bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, that spends a ton of money, ton of your money, disrespect you so much that they take their number one priority and they call it something that they feel that you're going to hear and go, oh, well, that's swell. Thanks for paying attention to my needs. And then you're just going to go about your day and go to the grocery store later that night and be like, oh, it's okay. Biden's on it. Yeah, he's on it. He's got his fingerprints all over it. Inflation is through the roof because this administration doesn't respect your needs. They don't respect your wants. They don't respect your struggles. So much so, in fact, that they relabel your struggles as part of the transition because their priority supersedes yours. Ironically, outside of a democratic republic like we have here in this country, that is what a dictatorship is. Because of the election process, because in 43 days you get to go change your elected officials regularly, to go hold them accountable for their disrespect towards you. Because we have that ability, you have to show up in force. And it's not going to be enough to just show up and vote and wear your sticker and put your Facebook post out that says you voted. It's not going to be enough to do that. The actual effort and the necessity of being involved and engaged right now is what actually makes the difference. I'm going to do a quick Google here while I'm talking, but early voting in Illinois is starting very soon. You can go to the polls and you can cast your ballot so that you can be heard and you can start getting other people to the ballot box so that there's no excuse to not be able to do it on election day and 43 days from now. You need to get people involved and engaged right now. You need to be able to talk to people about issues that matter. Listen to what matters to them first. You don't have to be explaining to them like the big smarties in the media explain to us, oh, it's not a recession. We're not calling it a recession. Well, of course you're not, because that's a bad word. You don't want us to call it a recession because that reflects poorly on you. Well, yeah, so does the actual real economy. So does the idea that spending $3.25 on gas is somehow or another a sweet find these days. Americans know this stuff. They're aware of it. We've got an understanding right now that the economy is bad. And even people on CNN are saying it could possibly get way worse.
Look, I'm calling it a take no prisoners economy. And the investors, home buyers, car buyers, companies, maybe even workers, no one's spared here for now. And this is in the global fight against inflation, right? Global central banks are jacking up interest rates. No end in sight there until high inflation is vanquished. The Fed has done it now 5 times. The Fed chief himself acknowledging the Fed's medicine will be painful, Erica, for everyday Americans, for consumers, for borrowers, even workers. He says, I wish there was a painless way to do that. There simply isn't.
That's Christine Romans, the chief business correspondent for CNN, folks, saying it's going to be painful for Americans. It hurts right now. We can't sit around and, I was speaking at the Hope Clinic for Women in Granite City, who ironically, I had a man who messaged me who came out to that event yesterday. And I wasn't very descriptive when I talked about it on the air what the Hope Clinic for Women was. It's an abortion facility in Granite City, Illinois. He was thinking it was like a women's shelter. And I should have been more clear, but I was very glad, and he was glad that he came out to be a part of a rally with like-minded people to try to end abortion in Illinois. But you talk to people, real people who are experiencing the hardships and the difficulties of Joe Biden's America. He has had his fingerprints on the history of this country now. He has 40-year records when it comes to inflation. He can't even admit that that's difficult for the average American person, but you have people out there that are hurting in a whole host of issues, and every issue, every single one that gets presented to the American people, that gets presented between neighbors when you're speaking with them across the fence, when you're talking to people at Little League games or at school functions or at church groups, whatever it is, whatever these issues are, you have two sides of the issue. And the two sides aren't the Republican side and the Democrat side. There's an informed side, and then there's the other side that works to misinform, disinform, or keep you from being informed and remind you that the other guy is Hitler. I mean, this is the actual conversation that is taking place from prominent people in the Democratic Party. I know plenty of people who are Republicans who I would consider to not be informed on the issues. They just are Republicans at heart. They've always been Republicans. They're probably always going to be Republicans. They don't take the time to inform themselves on the issues to the extent that they can carry a conversation with somebody who disagrees with them, maybe for the same exact reasons, because they've always been Democrats. They've always voted Democrat. They may always vote Democrat. That's not a place to position yourself to make a difference. I know a lot about these issues, and I still can find it just jaw-dropping that somebody who has spent the time to educate themselves on a particular issue doesn't see it my way. Well, that's because we have different experiences. We have different life perspectives. We have different responsibilities in our current lives. But the only way to cross the divide that people who are in elected office don't even want you to be able to see across. They want the divide to be so big that you can't even recognize that there are people on the other side looking across towards you, asking you about, why is it that you believe that? How could you possibly see it that way? That's an opportunity. That's when you get to open up with a discussion where you get to indicate to that other person that you do care about their existence, more than the fact that you're standing on such greatly divided opposite sides. The issues that are important to you may not be the issues that are the most important to them. Listen to them. Listen to what is important to them, and then talk to them about why you see what you see on your side of the issue. And it goes both ways. The worst thing that can happen to an establishment government, be it Democrat controlled or Republican controlled, the worst thing that can happen to those people is that folks like you and me talk to people on the other side of the aisle without having them have that power and that influence on controlling how that conversation goes. Because right now they do. They've got the cameras, they've got the microphones, they've got the social media. In many cases, they can police what is allowed to be spoken on social media, what is even allowed to be discussed on social media. We've experienced that here on this show. We push forward and we deal with it. I'm sure you've experienced it as well. A lot of people want to police what even gets to be discussed. Have those conversations anyway. Talk to people who you generally wouldn't talk to and listen to them. Spend the time engaging and listening. And see if anything changes. See if there's a difference that is made. See if you end up caring more, understanding that person more without working to try to persuade them. And maybe they'll listen to you. And maybe they'll understand you more. The divide closes between people in this country when we push the politicians out and we have that conversation here amongst voters. And we make our own difference. And we prioritize people over politics. It's time that that happens in this country. It's time that it happens in the state of Illinois. It's time that it happens in the state of Missouri. That's what makes us strong. What has made America strong has always been you and me and people who vote. That's what matters. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America, we're going to talk a little bit about stats on the labor force, mental health, and drug use post-pandemic. Are we still recovering, or is this the new normal? We'll talk to Ryan Wiggins about that when we come back. Vote in the YouTube live chat poll. If you were with us when we started YouTube, I think we had some audio issues. We fixed them, I think. So come back, come say hi, leave a comment, and make sure you vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Will the GOP's commitment to America make a positive difference for Republicans in the midterm? Yes or no? Can't wait to hear what you think about that. Ryan Wiggins in studio when we come back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Jesse Jane Duff. Shame on them for making everybody so universal you no longer have an identity. You're so watered down that you can no longer even defend this nation because you don't even know if you're supposed to stand when you pee or sit down.
Amen. Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Stewart's American Mortgage. He's the big loan guy. Economy is crazy. Fed's raising rates. We're going to talk to Stewie about this in a little bit, in a few days, to find out exactly what is going on. And also, like I said, we're going to talk to Stephen Moore at 105 about what are we supposed to be doing right now to prepare for what might be coming, because it doesn't seem like the economy is going to get any easier on consumers. Stewie might be able to help you. What kind of debt do you have right now? Is it spiraling? Is it high interest debt? If you're paying high interest on your credit card, make sure you go look at that credit card bill and see exactly monthly. How much are you paying a month for that interest? Stewie can help you. I want you to ask him about the big loan. I want you to ask him how a cash out refinance on your home, which the equity might be significantly up from when you purchased it, how you can get that debt gone at a low interest rate when you refinance your home. When you use the big loan, you don't pay any fees that other lenders are going to charge you for. It can be a no-brainer. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can Google, or you can text him, you can call him, you can Google the big loan, NMLS number 226715.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomeSt.Louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com or call 314-782-8000.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, this is Ken and Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Summertime is no time to run out of energy, guys, and Victory Men's Health can help. Mark Cox here. Book your appointment today at any of their 3 locations. They're now in Wing Haven in O'Fallon, Missouri. They're in Town and Country in the original location in O'Fallon, Illinois. Victory Men's Health has 400 plus 5-star Google reviews. There isn't another men's clinic in town that comes close to that kind of rating. Book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get your HVAC system ready for fall with a heating system check included with all maintenance plans starting at $15 a month. For details and to get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Streets I used to own.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Monday, folks. Yes, it is a happy Monday because you're here, and that makes me happy. Thanks for being with us. A reminder, 97.1 FM Talk obviously is a radio station that we're on, but we have an app, and it's called the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Stream us anywhere you go, and if you're having trouble with a signal where you are, or if you want to take us in a building and you don't have a radio, that app is a super simple way to listen to the show anytime. You can also rewind the show. So if you can't listen to us starting at noon, you get back in the building and you want to listen to us from the start, you can go on the Odyssey app and rewind up to 24 hours in advance of where you access the app in the first place. I want to remind folks as well that we are broadcasting live Wednesday from the Ruler Foods in St. Charles. I'm so excited to be out there. The whole crew will be out along with Princess Storm with Hot 1041 because we are supporting Princess Storm's diaper drive. And I have made very big commitments from the Annie Frey Show faithful, the 97.1 faithful. I'm hoping that we show up in a really, really big way with diapers to donate to this Princess Storm's diaper drive, where she sends them to help St. Louis families that are in need. So I'll talk a little bit about this later in the show. I don't spend a whole lot of time on it, but I spoke at the Hope Clinic for Women in Granite City yesterday to a crowd of about, I'd say 60 to 70 people, depending on the time, standing out there in front of the Hope Clinic. And it was a pro-life rally to start the 40 Days for Life situation that is addressing the idea that abortion is such a growing industry in the state of Illinois. And when we were out there, somebody showed up and they brought me some diapers, which was really cool. I have them right here. Cool. And they happen to be the size and brand that we buy from Ollie, size 3 Loves. And I had them in my car, and my husband brought them in. He goes, "Oh, did you buy diapers? I was going to buy diapers later." No! And he started to open the box. I was like, no. Those are not for us. So please consider getting your diapers secured, bringing them to us on Wednesday from noon to 3 at the Ruler Foods in St. Charles. I want to have a whole big pile of diapers to help donate to Princess Storm's diaper drive. And folks in Illinois, if you want to participate in this, but you don't want to make the afternoon haul all the way out to St. Charles, we have 2 locations, one in Edwardsville and one in Fairview Heights, that you can drop diapers off right now. You're on your lunch break, go to Walgreens, buy some diapers, drop them off in Edwardsville at Jen Teskey, her realtor office there with RE/MAX Alliance in Edwardsville. It's across from the public library next to Subway. Go to Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. She's agreed to accept them from 9 to 5, Monday through, I guess, tomorrow, since we're doing this on Wednesday. Bring those diapers there. In Fairview Heights, C.A. Jones, they're on Lincoln Trail, and they said from 9 to 4 today and tomorrow, you can drop off these diapers, and then they will get those diapers to us for the diaper drive. Please show up for these families in needs. It's a simple package of diapers, and we've tried to make it as easy as we possibly can for you to participate. All right, let's get to Wiggins America.
So, wanted to focus on this since it's a Monday and everybody's back at work and back at school and stuff. The pandemic is apparently over, according to Joe Biden. Last weekend, he said that on 60 Minutes and apparently caught a lot of people, even in his own administration, off guard. And then the WHO head said, no, we're not. Everybody's walking it back. But with a lot of stats, it actually looks like we are getting at least somewhat back to normal. Things like STDs and drunk driving are getting back to pre-pandemic levels. It's very real.
Oh, man.
But I wanted to focus with you guys, again, since it is a Monday, on the, I guess, kind of the mental health aspect of this, mental health being kind of a broad term for just fatigue overall. That's something that this article talks about. It talks about corporate heads seeing this in the workplace a lot. Is this something to you guys? I'm not even debating whether we're fatigued. It seems to me like that is, everybody kind of agrees.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because of the pandemic, or is that something you think we're applying to the pandemic, but is just a pretty normal thing? We're getting back into work and school right now.
The fatigue.
The fatigue
I'm not
itself.
sure I understand what the actual question here is.
Is the fatigue something that we are attributing to
fatigue to what?
Fatigue in life. I mean, across the board. People I talk to everywhere are saying they're just tired. They're tired and having trouble getting the energy. Is it because we're getting back to work and our schedules are fuller than they were because things were a lot less or a lot more empty in the last couple of years? Or are we kind of applying something that actually is pretty normal at this time of year to the pandemic just because it's convenient to do so?
I honestly don't hear anybody talking about the pandemic at all.
Pandemic, what?
Yeah. I don't think that it's a factor.
I would go as far to say as we've been like, I know Joe Biden just said the pandemic's over, but I think for Americans, the pandemic has been over for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I think we would be used to the fatigue from coming out of the pandemic. So I think attributing it to that is kind of lazy and easy to do, but I don't think that that's why people feel tired.
I hear a lot of people do it, and maybe it's because we're so connected to teachers that going back to school and this time of year is usually tired anyway, but that getting the kids to get motivated has been harder than ever before. And I do think that is pandemic related. I think we've lowered the standards across the board with that and with work, and that some of these things getting back to normal is actually going to be quite a bit harder than we think it is.
But we've done it. We're here. I don't think there's any getting back to normal. I think that we're normal. Do you agree with that, Brad? I mean, like, there's nothing really left to do that.
I think the only thing that is left to do is to have politicians just stop talking about it being an issue.
Yeah. Because I mean, the idea of something like, when, first of all, the pandemic is so over that Joe Biden is saying the obvious thing and everyone's like, we know. And then the administration's going, what? Like, you said what? Why did you say that out loud? Like, you weren't supposed to say it because then it could just go on in perpetuity. We are so far back to normal that you have to be reminded, like with segments like this, that, oh, that pandemic happened.
Yeah, I just think that there are elements, and maybe it's because of what you're saying. The politicians, I mean, Nancy Pelosi just last week extended
Take the politicians out of it, though.
Life itself.
What reminds you of the pandemic?
Honestly, I think it's just schools. I think it's schools.
People driving by themselves wearing masks.
But even that is not the way it has been in the past.
No,
I mean,
but that's about the only thing that I see that ever reminds me that, oh yeah, we did the pandemic thing.
And they're still doing it. But I mean, it's not, I don't know. My kids have been in school since September 2020 or August 2020. And they've been, my kid, there's, I don't know. That's my experience. That pandemic is far from being a part of my daily life. And I know people who get COVID and they just stay on their own for a couple of days, like you did when you got sick. It's the same thing. And we just, like, nobody panics. Nobody gasps when someone has COVID. You're like, oh, okay, cool. And it takes a pot. Like, I almost wish we weren't talking about it because, like, I think we probably just reminded people that it happened.
I can see that.
Well, I think workforce things are another one that comes up to me a lot. When I'm having trouble getting somebody to serve me, or you see places shutting down because they either can't stay. Well, part of it's inflation. They're just having trouble with prices, but they're having trouble also keeping up with paying workers and keeping workers in the building. And I'm just hoping that's not the new normal, because if we're saying right now,
it is if we keep electing Democrats, but I don't think it has to do with the pandemic.
Yeah, if we're saying that it is over, which I'm glad we're saying, I just wanted to make sure that is what we're saying, but there are still things that haven't recovered.
Is it what you're saying? Because you seem to be advocating that the pandemic is still lingering.
Well, I think there are effects from it, especially economically and mentally, that maybe we're not over.
But if Donald Trump were the president right now, this wouldn't be happening.
Right. Which that's economic.
Correct. But it's not pandemic. Like my point is to even attach the two circles in the Venn diagram of what we're experiencing today is like to even lend a bit of credence towards, can we go to 5750? To lend a bit of credence towards the pandemic as being responsible for what's going on right now is way letting Democrats off the hook. If Donald Trump had won that election and was the president right now, this economy would be on fire right now. And that's not just the economy, but you think about all of the different things that are in place right now. You think about Russia and Ukraine, and would Russia be able to do in Ukraine what Russia was doing in Ukraine if the United States was maintaining its energy independence? No,
they wouldn't have the finances.
The entire world would be different right now if Joe Biden wasn't the president. And to even suggest that the intersection of what the economic world experiences right now touches the pandemic, as if the pandemic is still even a fraction of a reason, an explanation, or the worst, an excuse, is to totally release the Democrats from responsibility of doing the right thing. These are Democrat policies. It may be convenient to say it is related to the pandemic, but that's just so they can do it more. We don't need more.
Yeah. You're making an important distinction between what we've done in response to it versus the actual thing itself.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Stephen Moore is going to join us to talk about the economy and what you need to do to prepare yourself. Don't go away.
Mark Cox here. Prices on just about everything are still rising, but thanks to my friends at CarShield, I don't have to worry about how much it'll cost to fix my car when it breaks down. Their price will never go up, and they help handle everything. That's why I love CarShield. When I locked my keys in my car on vacation, CarShield was there for me because they offer roadside assistance with every protection plan at no extra cost. When my car radio started acting up, I got it replaced because CarShield covers those things under my protection plan. When you need a repair, you don't have to deal with the paperwork or the headaches. You just choose the mechanic to do the work, and CarShield administrators handle the rest. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down. They can have yours too. Get coverage like I did. Go to carshield.com/Cox or call 800-391-8888 to save 10% on your plan. That's carshield.com/Cox.
Custom organization is a phone call away, and you just need to pick up that phone and call the Closet Factory at 314-961-4300. Your home is your domain, and when it is disorganized, it gets to you. At least that's my experience. I know that when the Closet Factory came in and gave us a solution for, 3 kids, 4 kids, 3 bedrooms, how are we going to make this work? Well, they gave us a customized solution for us. I can't stress this enough, that whether you go the completely functional route, your budget makes it so that you want to be able to do more, and it's not being seen by people. So you just need full function, all the way up to just absolutely gorgeous designs for your home that provide customized storage solutions to your needs. The Closet Factory is amazing to work with. They are affordable, and they are the best here in St. Louis. Reach out to them to book your appointment now and get a consultation for your home, 314-961-4300. You can find them online at closetfactory.com.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Heed the warnings. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That message from local, state, and federal officials as Hurricane Ian churns toward Florida's Gulf Coast, expected to arrive as early as Wednesday and have some impact on much of the state, even without a landfall, because it's so big. Forecasters say it could be a Category 4 storm by then.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell says Ian brings a threat to Florida's west coast, which it hasn't seen for a century.
I also worry about individuals that have moved to the area that have never experienced a hurricane.
Criswell urges those in the potential impact zone to get alerts, and also,
if you're asked to evacuate, know where you're going to go.
Acting National Hurricane Center Director Jamie Rome says some will try and ride it out, but those are folks who tell him afterward,
if I had only known it would be this bad.
Some evacuation orders and storm watches have already been issued.
Fox's Gernal Scott. The White House downplaying new poll numbers that show high concern about the economy and low support for the president.
The president will say, as I'm saying right now, is his focus is not on himself. His focus is on continuing to deliver for the American people.
Spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says the administration is doing everything it can to help lower costs and save families money. In an ABC Washington Post poll, 56% of Democrats want a different presidential nominee, and nearly 3/4 of Americans surveyed say the economy is in bad shape. That's up from 58% when President Biden took office. The CDC says one of the latest Omicron subvariants, BA.5, now represents more than 83% of cases. Pfizer is now seeking FDA authorization to give its updated boosters to kids ages 5 to 11. It's already available for those 12 and up who've had the initial rounds of vaccination. America is listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
What you've heard about probiotics is probably wrong.
I eat yogurt, so I don't need to take a probiotic.
Probiotics?
They don't really work.
It's time to learn the truth about probiotics from Align, the probiotic brand recommended by gastroenterologists 2 times more than any other probiotic brand. Align has probiotics to naturally help relieve occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Try Align for a month and see how great a healthy gut can feel at AlignProbiotics.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Super duper weather on tap this afternoon. All about fall, sunshine in control. 72 for the high this afternoon. Tonight, clear and chilly, 45. Tuesday, sunny and nice, 72 degrees. We're in a log jam with a big high pressure system. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sunshine, 69, 70 for high temperatures for middle and end of the week. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
What they're able to do economically, culturally, militarily to expand their power. And they have a lot of presence now in our own Western hemisphere. And you see a lot of leftist governments, Cuba, Venezuela, they welcome in the CCP into our very own hemisphere. We think that that's something that we need to take seriously.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Slim 180 is your destination for weight loss. So if you've been thinking about the weight that you have put on during COVID, I want you to consider taking it off with people who can counsel you through the whole process with programs that work. Go see the people at your local Slim 180 and find out how they can help you through this process. MySlim180.com is the website, MySlim180.com. You can research there some of the nutritional guidance programs that they have, the HCG program that works so well at dropping weight and dropping weight fast. And you can do it with the wonderful support and counseling of the fine people at Slim 180. You don't need to put this off any longer. You can lose weight fast. You can have quick results, and they will educate you and teach you about the life choices that you need to make in order to maintain that weight loss far beyond the time that you are dropping the weight with Slim 180. I trust them with my weight loss, and I would encourage you to give them the opportunity to help you with yours. MySlim180.com.
Mark Cox here. The next Protecting Your Retirement educational event is Tuesday, October 4th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. Seating's limited, so go online at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and concerned how all the market volatility is hurting your retirement accounts? Would you like to know why our clients have not lost a penny with all the market losses this year? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can now roll over your 401k tax-free to protect your nest egg and still generate more income than most investment options? You'll get all the answers and more If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this last event of the year.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, October 4th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Call 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here. It's one in, one out.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out, so please visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Fruits and vegetables are very environmentally friendly foods. Make them even more friendly by eating them in season. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Mark Cox.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brian Kilmeade.
How about this?
Annie Fry.
Wow, we really got to change course.
Mark Reardon.
Coming together.
Dana Lash.
I mean, it's 2022.
Listen on the Odyssey app and rewind whenever you'd like.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Because this is so volatile right now, so dramatically moving to the downside that will be oversold at some point, and all of these things. Listen, the reason the Fed wants to do this is that people get broke, and when you're broke, the Fed will walk away.
Money. Oh my goodness, it's so cyclical.
It's sad to say,
all right.
But once we lose 1 million or 2 jobs, then they think their job will be done.
Charles Payne.
Yeah.
The truth hurts.
It's sad.
But we all want to know the truth.
The saddest part, though, is it didn't have to be this bad.
That's Charles Payne speaking with Harris Faulkner earlier today on her show, the Faulkner Focus. And it seems as though as the economy continues to take some hits and the economy doesn't really seem to have many bright spots in the future, at least not ones that I'm feeling. I don't think you're feeling them. The solution there to getting this economy back on track seems as if not more painful than what we're already experiencing. Well, let's talk to our expert, Stephen Moore. He's a senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks. He wrote the book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom, and he's with us again here today. Stephen, welcome back to the show. Always good to have you.
Hi, Annie. Good to be with you.
And I'm listening. Thank you. When I'm listening to Charles Payne there talk about the solution to the inflation problem, because it seems as though the Inflation Reduction Act didn't act to reduce inflation, that the direction this economy is going to have to head in order to get back on the right track, it seems pretty scary for Americans.
It should be. I mean, we're in a deep, deep ditch right now. These are all self-inflicted wounds. The Biden economic policy has been pretty much a across-the-board disaster. I mean, you have high inflation. Now you got the stock market that's in a ferocious bear market. By the way, I have to say this with all humility, but back in early May, Arthur Laffer and I had a piece in the Wall Street Journal predicting that the Dow would fall by 20%. That we'd be talking about, and the title of it was Dow 19,500. And guess where we're at today? 19,500. I mean 29,500. And so, what point to something that Biden's doing that's actually helping the economy? I mean, they've declared war on American energy. They're not building the pipelines. They're massively spending and borrowing and printing money. The price controls, all these things are having a really negative effect. And I was just laughing when you said the Inflation Reduction Act didn't reduce inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Who thought it would? I mean, it's just $500 billion of more spending and borrowing. That doesn't that doesn't lower the inflation rate; it increases it.
Yeah. Stephen, I was saying at the beginning of the show here that the biggest thing facing Americans, taxpayers, voters right now is the economy. And the biggest thing to the Democratic Party and to the Biden administration is climate. And what they did was they made a climate bill, and they think that the American people are so stupid that they can just call their climate bill the Inflation Reduction Act, and that will appease voters long enough, 43 days from now, that they'll feel like, yeah, this administration's trying to do something to help reduce inflation. That all they have to do is share some words with us, and we'll go, yep,
Right.
okay, you're doing your job. But I don't think, from your experience, you tell us, are voters buying that they're trying to actually reduce inflation for taxpayers?
Well, if you think that the Inflation Reduction Act was going to reduce inflation, you probably thought the Affordable Care Act would make healthcare more affordable, right? I mean, or you probably think that the demonstrations we saw in cities across the country were mostly peaceful. They're very good at changing the definition of things. By the way, it looks like we may have a third straight quarter of negative growth now. We don't know for sure, but it's close to zero. So, what happens then? Because it used to be 2 quarters of negative growth for a recession, but then no, that's not. What about 3 quarters? Is that a recession? Most Americans would probably agree with me that we are in a recession. 70% of the Americans think the economy is headed in the wrong direction, and they're right. And there is one bright spot, though, I got to mention, if I may, and that's, I don't know if you've been following, Annie, what Liz Truss is doing over on the other side of the pond, but she's turning out to be potentially another Margaret Thatcher. I mean, she's cut taxes. She's put a freeze on government employment. She said she wants to increase the amount of fossil fuel production in UK so that they're not dependent on Vladimir Putin for oil. She is deregulating the economy. She's doing all the right things. So, and by the way, Italy may also elect a conservative free market president. So maybe some things are going in the right direction, just not in the United States.
Yeah, and it doesn't take a news show or a talk show like mine, or a cable news channel, or a pundit like you for people to go, things aren't going well here. I'm wondering if you think that in 43 days from now, the American voter is going to attach the active actions that this administration has taken upon what was supposed to be a V-shaped recovery. That's what we heard. We heard you talk about that. That was supposed to be like kind of a slam dunk. Are they going to understand that the recovery that we didn't have right now and the direction we've headed are due to not the pandemic, but actual active policies by the people who are in charge right now?
Well, great point. I had forgotten about their rhetoric about the V-shaped recovery, because we had the start of a V-shaped recovery. Remember when the last 6 months Trump was in office, but then now it looks like a W. Up, it went down, then up under Trump at the end, and then back down again. And hopefully we'll see it go up sometime soon. But I think that it will be a red wave election. I think Americans I don't believe these polls that show that they're close races and stuff. I think you're going to see a lot of, and I'm not a rah-rah Republican. I mean, you've known me, Annie, for a long time. Republicans like to spend money just like Democrats do, but it's just important that voters, it's not important that they vote for the Republicans. It's important that they vote against what Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and Chucky Schumer have done to our country, because it will take many, many years, if not decades, to undo the damage that they've done. I mean, my God, we've added $4 trillion of debt, Annie, in 20 months?
Yeah, you kind of just answered the question that I was going to tee up for you here, but I'm going to ask it anyway and let you elaborate. We are headed in a distinct direction right now, economically speaking. I've looked at my 401k. I'm 38. I've got time for recovery. I'm curious, when they say, if you're in your mid-50s, that you don't really have that much time for recovery, does that turn into your early 50s now when the economy goes down this far? What kind of preparation do Americans need to be making for what's coming here in the next 2 years, but also long term based on the setbacks that we've had right now?
Well, Annie, I mean, you're making me feel old here, because I just turned 60. So, and I don't even want to look at my 401k plan now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just too depressing. I mean, we're not rich. We probably lost $250,000 or $300,000 since Biden came into office because of these nitwit policies. So it's not just people's incomes. I made this point on, Sean Hannity's show Friday night, that people's wealth is vaporizing right before their eyes. So think of a couple, that spent their whole life building up their lifetime savings, put it in the stock market so they could have a nice nest egg. And then, Biden's policies come along and he just knocked 20% off of it. So it is going to cause some hardship for people, no question about it. And their dreams of buying a house or people's dreams of having, a secure retirement, it doesn't look so secure right now when you see what's happened to this battered stock market. I mean, this is a bear market, no question about it. And I think it's going to take a change in direction of policy. And look, if Republicans do win the House, and they're going to win the House, I mean, that's 98% just because they only have to pick up 4 or 5 seats, and they pick up that many just because of redistricting. But once you take the gavel out of Nancy Pelosi's hands, at least bad things are going to, at least they're not going to do a lot of bad things. Now, the Republicans may not be able to get their, Biden will still be able to, veto any legislation he doesn't like, but at least you can stop the bad things from happening. And don't forget this was before your time, but when Newt Gingrich, won the House for the Republicans back in 1994, as soon as that was announced, the stock market went through a huge, huge rally. So we're going to need a change of leadership in Washington for sure.
Did you pay attention to the commitment with America that the Republicans released last week? What's your reaction to that?
I like it all. I mean, it was interesting. I was listening to the Biden people on some of the Sunday talk shows yesterday. Oh, this is such a danger to America. This is MAGA. And I was like, what? Wait, you're not for securing the border? You're not for reducing government spending? You're not for, fighting crime? I mean, what's even controversial about it? I mean, these are just good ideas. These are common sense ideas of getting our economy back on. They're against producing American energy? What are they against? Why?
Are there Democrats right now that feel this pressure to pull away from the direction the Democrat Party is heading, so that if the Republicans, every once in a while the Democrats will pass a bill and a Democrat majority in the House, and you'll see a sprinkling of Republicans that cross over and say, no, we support this bill. I mean, I got to think that Democrats that are in some purple districts, if they win re-election, they're going to be pressured to go along with some things that really put them to the test. Do you see any division in the Democrat Party as to whether or not they should be going far left the way it has been heading, or maybe just back more to the center?
Not much.
Really.
First of all, what matters is how they vote. They use so let's just look at the way they vote. Every Democrat has voted for virtually every Biden initiative. Every one of them. And in fact, every one of them provided, because that last bill passed by 1 vote in the House and 1 vote in the Senate. So every single Democrat provided the winning vote for this radical left-wing big government socialist agenda. Now, what's interesting, what I have been following, Annie, and this is fascinating, when you listen to what the Democrats are saying on the campaign trail, fight crime, reduce inflation, let's get spending under control, let's produce. They sound like Republicans.
Yeah.
I mean, they're running on a Republican agenda, but we know they're lying, right? Because the first thing they're going to do when they get back into office is go back to the radical agenda. So they talk right, but they govern from the left.
And that's where the media comes in and has to hold them accountable and say, well, you're saying this, but that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, they won't. You're not going to hold them accountable. I mean, my God, let's not forget that Joe Biden, remember when he was running for president? He said he was a moderate. He said, I'm not Bernie Sanders. I'm a guy who's going to run up the center.
Yeah.
Is there anybody alive who thinks this has been a centrist? He has not one time has he ever reached across the aisle and gotten, trying to get Republican votes. All he does is attack Republicans. Is that, those near fascist MAGA Republicans, extreme. But I'm a MAGA Republican. I'll say it. I'm a MAGA Republican. I do want to make America great again. What are you going to do?
Yeah, call you names and try to use that against you. Yeah. It's bizarre, and it's very telling that what we see from the Democratic Party candidates and people stumping from candidates on a regular basis is a lot of name calling, a lot of playing to people's emotions, but they don't talk about policy and issue at all because none of them are going their way.
Yeah, and also because the wheels are coming off the economy, and I am worried about. I hope I'm wrong about this, but I am worried that the economy is going to slip into a deeper, more crash landing type of situation than a soft landing, because every idea that comes out of Biden is bad. I mean, can you think of anything on the economy he's done right?
No. It's not even just on the economy. It's broader than that. That's the scary part. Well, that's why we have you.
It's the border, it's the crime, it's the name calling. All this stuff is just really bad for America. But we'll get through this. I mean, I do think that's why I like to mention what's happening in Britain and Italy. I mean, I think there's a counter assault against this woke leftist big government socialism all over the world.
Yeah, I think the pendulum swings back, and we're on the way. And we need you with us here as we do that to break it down for us. Stephen Moore, thank you as always for being with us today.
Okay, Annie, have a great week.
You as well. Bye-bye. The senior economic contributor at Freedom Works, Stephen Moore. Get his book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. If you've been looking to understand these economic issues more, if you're trying to understand how, you think, oh, I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative, big government is bad, but you want to be able to understand it even more, please consider reading his book, because he'll explain it to you in a way that you can potentially regurgitate in conversations about the points that you look at, you read, you research, and you agree with. It helps round out those conversations that you can have and make them more conversational and less argumentative. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, excited to welcome in some candidates for a local state office in the Illinois side of the river. We're going to speak with Ashley Hunsaker. We're going to speak with Kevin Schmidt, both of them running for a state house position against Democrats. That would be a +2 for Republicans in the state house. Get us out of that super minority of Republicans in the General Assembly, as well as Wavey Lester, who wants to unseat Christopher Belt in the Illinois Senate District 57. Come in, ask questions. St. Clair County, it doesn't have to be this way. Tune in when we come back to find out how it could be different. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Second Amendment Radio is a staple of solid firearm information on 97.1 every weekend. Saturday from 3 to 4 and Sunday from noon to 1. It's Second Amendment Radio and the great outdoors. 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, it's fun to see Andrea's Brush On Steak Sauce make lots of national lists and regional lists too. Last year, I think they made CNN's top 10 sauces you really need to know about or something like that. But just this weekend, they made a major Kansas City Chiefs bloggers recommendation for the best tailgating sauce. So I can't disagree with that. I didn't know they were in Kansas City, but they're definitely here in St. Louis. You can pick up a bottle anywhere, including their restaurant or Andreas.com. Schnucks, Straub's, Deerbergs all have it, and it is the perfect tailgating sauce. Or you could say maybe baseball sauce, because we got a lot of good games coming up and enjoying these evenings. I hope you are too. This is a great time of year to grill. The evenings are just so nice right now. This is the best. So Andreas.com, once again, is where you can go to order a bottle if you just want to do it from your phone or from your computer. You can also go to the restaurant, which is in Fairview Heights, O'Fallon, Illinois, and pick up a bottle there while you're having a fantastic meal. Put it on any protein. It's Andrea's sauce, Andreas.com.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The best part about taking ZQuil Pure Z's Sleep Plus Next Day Energy at night is actually the next morning. I wake up alert with none of the grogginess from taking too much melatonin. Pure Z Sleep Plus Next Day Energy is a bilayer tablet with immediate release melatonin and extended release B vitamins to help me fall asleep naturally and wake refreshed. It's my secret weapon for a great night's sleep and a great morning.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Can't beat that.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies. Sleep better, wake your best.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Mark Cox here for my friends at Whiskey Dickerson Small Batch Outfitters, WhiskeyDickerson.com. This is an apparel brand, but it's also a way of life. The folks at Whiskey Dickerson believe government should be small and stay out of the way. They care about the future of our country, the right to keep and bear arms, and they love good whiskey. These values are found in their great designs made right here in St. Louis. You can shop Ultra MAGA, Trump Country, Let's Go Brandon, and now 97.1 FM Talk at WhiskeyDickerson.com. We've partnered with Whiskey Dickerson Outfitters to bring you the 97.1 FM Talk shop. Their Patriot-approved apparel promotes support for law enforcement and free-thinking common sense you can't find anywhere else. If you like your whiskey, your Second Amendment, and St. Louis home for conservative talk, you have to check out Whiskey Dickerson Small Batch Outfitters. That's WhiskeyDickerson.com, WhiskeyDickerson.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
Coming up over New York City, school bus driver in a traffic jam, staring at the faces in a rearview mirror, looking at the promise of the promised land.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Fame and fortune.
All right, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're having too much fun off the air here. Why? Well, because we're trying to talk about, we're figuring out how we're going to make Illinois a better place to live, and that involves all of you, but it also involves some people who I have here in studio with me right now. This is a great time to get in and get on the live chat so that the YouTube live stream, so you can see the people who we are talking to, who are working to represent you and give you the alternative. I keep saying this. I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. If you're in the state of Illinois, it does not have to be this way. First, let's talk to Wavey Lester. Wavey has been in with us before. He is running for the Illinois State Senate District 57. Christopher Belt is currently the representative there. We're going to get to Ashley Hunsaker and Kevin Schmidt here in just a second. But Wavey, let's start with you. Talk to me. Welcome. First of all, welcome. Hi.
How you doing?
Good to have you back. Always good to have you in the studio. The Illinois State Senate 57th District. Tell me what kind of area that covers, so people who are listening right now understand if they're in your domain.
Okay, so the St. Clair County has about 260,000 people. My district is about 215,000 of those people. It basically, if you take out Caseyville, Collinsville, and a little bit of Fairview Heights, everything else, all the way down to the St. Clair, Monroe County border is all in my district.
Okay, so it's very much St. Clair County.
Yes.
Christopher Belt has been representing the 57th district for how long?
He is a first-term incumbent, so he's coming up on the end of his 4th year.
So if you were to unseat Christopher Belt for the 57th district in the Illinois State Senate, what are you offering these people in your district that Christopher Belt has not done in these 4 years?
Well, the first thing I would do is represent the entire 57th district. It's well known that he spends a significant amount of his time in Cahokia and East St. Louis, and outside of that community, people really don't know him, and they never really see him because he doesn't do anything for the rest of the district. He just kind of stays over there and takes care of friends and family and hangs out.
I mean, has he spent time talking to people outside of Cahokia? Like, what's in Cahokia and East St. Louis? Like you said, what's there that he's so focused on?
Well, his brother-in-law is the mayor of Cahokia. And so
I honestly did not know that.
Yeah, his brother-in-law is the mayor of Cahokia, and so he, I guess he's supposed to be spending time over there because he has 2 other jobs that he also has over in Cahokia. He is the water and sewer department superintendent, as well as he's a Cahokia administrator. So I'm assuming when he's not being a senator, he's over there, which, but being a senator is actually a full-time job, even though it's listed as a part-time job. When you're not actually in session, you're still supposed to be out doing those other things, talking to the people and things like that. But no one has seen him, but except obviously in the last 6-7 months, he's starting to come out a lot more and take pictures and things like that.
We're going to get back to that statement here in a little bit, but I want to bring Ashley into the conversation. She's really excited to be here, not nervous at all.
No.
Pull that microphone down.
Okay, hello.
There you go. See, that's better. Ashley Hunsaker is running to represent you in the State House for District 114. Is that right? 13. 113. Kevin's waving me off going, no, don't vote for Ashley in the 114th. That's me. The 113th district, currently represented by Jay Hoffman.
Yes.
So Ashley, Jay Hoffman has been in politics for how long?
So he's been in since 1991.
91.
Yep.
I would say that qualifies as a career politician.
For sure.
So in the 113th district, Ashley, you have decided to take your career in politics, which started when?
Right before Thanksgiving last year.
Okay, so this is a fresh take for you.
Yes.
Thanksgiving of 2021, that's probably about a year and a half after we've been in COVID in the state of Illinois, which lasted, it's weird how it lasted a lot longer in the state of Illinois than it did in a lot of our neighboring states, Ashley.
For sure.
What pushed you into saying, you know what, we need a change in the 113th? I'd like to take on Jay Hoffman and represent those people.
Yeah, there's so many things. So just that I feel like we're not being represented, and I say this, like the normal people, because I believe Jay is just disconnected. He's been in there for too long. He's not listening to what the people are saying. Even with the COVID lockdowns, like let us free. Our businesses are struggling. Our families are leaving. I've been knocking in neighborhoods and literally there's for sale signs in every single neighborhood. And enough is enough. Our property taxes keep going up, for crying out loud. And just
what do you get for it?
Yes. Yes. And I've heard so many times, like I've knocked thousands of doors in this campaign season, and just our roads are terrible, our schools are bad, like what are we getting for all of these taxes? And yet we're the second highest taxes in the United States. And for what? So it's time for somebody to say, hey, listen, enough's enough. Let's spend our money where we need to spend our money and be wise with it and stop taxing our people.
Ashley Hunsaker is running for the House District, Illinois' 113th district. Tell me what the 113th is comprised of, what towns, what area?
Sure. So it's all of Belleville, Swansea, a little bit of Shiloh, and then it's like an hourglass through Fairview Heights. So if you're in Fairview Heights, check it, because I walked a neighborhood and across this is the same neighborhood, but across the street was in a different district. So check in Fairview Heights, and then it goes up through Madison, Venice, Brooklyn, and Washington Park.
Okay. So yeah, my district, I used to be in the 112th. I think I technically still am, because don't the new districts, the new representation starts with the new cycle? Like my representative is the representative I always had, which is Katie Stewart, and I would like you to just fire her and hire Jen Cordy. That's a conversation for another day, which we will have. But my district is now Amy Ellick's district. Across the street is the 112th. It's funny how I'm in the 111th, and now they took me out of Katie's district. I want to think that was done on purpose. But we also have in here Kevin Schmidt. Kevin Schmidt is running for the 114th district. These are all St. Clair County areas. So I want you to listen specifically right now in St. Clair County. People talk about St. Clair County as being Little Cook County. And sometimes I wonder if St. Clair County is where Cook County gets their ideas because it seems as though it's so corrupt. Kevin Schmidt, thank you for being in here. You want to be the state House rep in the 114th district. You a career politician as well, or not at all?
Not at all.
Not at all. Tell me about what you do and how you got into saying, nope, enough is enough. I want to run.
So I'm a chiropractor in Millstadt and Freeburg. So I'll run through the district lines to start here. So we have basically I wrap Ashley's district around it. Kind of definitely gerrymandered there, but it's a big U. I've got East St. Louis, Cahokia Heights, most of Cahokia Heights. Then I've got Dupo, Millstadt, Smithin, New Athens, Muscuda, Lebanon, and Northern O'Fallon. Freeburg. So those are all in it, and it's a newly drawn district. Actually, the NAACP filed a lawsuit on it, saying that it was discriminating. The new lines were discriminating. That lawsuit fell through. It's definitely a winnable district. That's one of the reasons that sparked my interest, and the fact that I grew up in Belleville, and my family's been there for over 200 years. My wife's family owns a marble company in Millstadt there. I'm a small business owner. The key to my campaign is lowering taxes. I think that's the number one reason why people are leaving Illinois and will continue to leave Illinois. And if we don't reverse that, the state's going to go down.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm running. Is to streamline things, make things more business friendly, and run Illinois like a business, a competitive business. We have other states. Obviously, we're in Missouri right here. You know, I got here in 25 minutes. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
And
you can move
competing
across state lines and not have to change your lifestyle.
Correct. We're competing against Missouri and losing. You know, so we have to become more competitive as a state.
I'm going to ask you this, Wavey. Jaded Zelda on YouTube says St. Clair County was one of the few counties in Illinois that did not vote for Trump. This midterm election, we're 43 days away from it. Early voting starts
Friday,
the 20th. Thursday, the 28th, I think. People can start voting soon. And, you know, Donald Trump tends to push he wants to be talked about in general, but is this election going to be a referendum on Trump? I find it hard to believe that it's not more of a referendum on Joe Biden, the guy who actually is the president right now, who is making the decisions at the top, who's making a lot of decisions for the country, the way that the Illinois State House has decided to make decisions for the state of Illinois, the Illinois State Senate, and the governor. We have a supermajority of Democrats in this state making decisions that are in the best interest of big government and in the politicians that run these entities, not in the best interest of the people. So I'm curious, Wavey, what you think about what's going to matter to voters in the Illinois State Senate District 57.
Okay.
And how you respond to what you're hearing people talk about.
Yeah, so when I'm out campaigning and I talk to people, you know, first thing I typically do is just introduce myself and let them know that I'm the Republican candidate, and immediately their faces typically light up and go, "Oh, you're a Republican." And so
why do they say that?
Yeah, well,
or a radio.
You don't find many Black Republicans,
Okay.
and so once we get past that, though, we start to talk about the issues that are really concerning, and obviously taxes are number one. I mean, she said we are the second. We're actually, if you combine all of our taxes, we are the number one most taxed state in the country. And our real estate taxes are actually the second highest in the country. And so I don't think that this is going to be a referendum on Trump because most people simply don't talk about him. To be completely honest with you, most people probably think we should move on, but that's neither here nor there. But crime. That's the second thing that we typically like to talk about the most. We have increasing crime. It used to be where if you lived in a neighborhood like mine, you didn't really worry about crime. But now what they're doing is they're organizing, coming to our neighborhoods, our communities, doing these crimes, and then they get to run back to wherever they were originally. And so you're no longer, people just don't feel safe. And so when I believe safety is a fundamental right for you to be able to and feel safe. And so those are typically the two biggest things that we talk about the most, are the cost of living, which is inflation driven as well as and crime. And so, we need to figure out a way to fix these things.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is we have to fix them.
So, Wavey, you mentioned the fact that you are a Black Republican, and that takes people off guard a little bit when you say you're a Republican. They go, "Oh, really?" I'm curious of your thoughts. I mean, you've walked your district. It's a very diverse district.
Yes, very diverse.
When you say that you're Republican, and as a Black man, I assume you're talking to people who are also not white. That could be all different kinds of races that you're talking to. Do they want to know why?
Oh, I get asked all the time. I probably get asked at least once or twice a week, why am I a Republican?
Mhm.
And so back to the diversity, if you for example, you take East St. Louis, it only takes about maybe 10, 15 minutes to get from East St. Louis to O'Fallon. O'Fallon is probably one of the largest, fastest growing cities in the country and has one of the highest per capita incomes.
Mhm.
And so those are literally separated by like 15 minutes of distance. And so when you're out there talking to people, you have to understand the diversity between East St. Louis, and it's totally different than it is in Millstadt, totally different than it is in O'Fallon and all the other surrounding communities. And so, people ask me all the time why I'm a Republican, and I just simply let them know, like, I wasn't born a Republican. I was born and raised to be a Democrat because grandma was a Democrat, mom was a Democrat, dad was a Democrat. But when I got older, I decided to look at the parties and see which values and beliefs and things that one party stood for compared to the other. And when I, took a look at that, my values and beliefs aligned more with the Republican, because they're typically conservative and not so much with the Democrats. And
So just quick before we go to a break, because I want to get back and talk to Ashley and to Kevin here about some of the things affecting the people in their district. Wavey, when you say that your values align more with the Republican Party, tell me, Wavey, which values you're talking about that you think also will resonate with people who maybe haven't considered before voting for somebody that mom and grandma and great grandma didn't vote for.
Yeah, I mean, we just got to get things back to being normal, closer to just, boys are boys, girls are girls, that type of thing. But conservative values, in my opinion, the small government, lower taxes, those types of things are what typically drive me to be more on the Republican side as a conservative. And so, there's a whole list of things that the Republican Party typically stand for. And most of those things are things that I strongly believe: pro-life, protection of life, at least, but at the same time, while I may be a 100% pro-life person myself, as a representative of a 57th district, I also have to look at what the district is.
Mhm.
And so if you see things like, 70% of women did not want to see Roe v. Wade overturned, but that same 70% of women also do not want to see second and third trimester abortions. And so it's a combination of my conservative values also combined with what the district represent, what they also want as well.
Thank you, Wavey. All right. We've got Wavey Lester in studio with us right now. He's running for the Illinois Senate District 57. Ashley Hunsaker in studio with us, running for the Illinois House District 113th. And Kevin Schmidt, who wants to represent the Illinois House District 114th. These are all people who you can research more about. And if they get elected, they unseat Democrats. This is not just to keep a red district red. This actually makes a dramatic change to research these candidates, to learn about these candidates, to hear from these candidates, and to put them in office, because in Illinois, it doesn't have to be the way it is right now, but we need change in order to see change. Let's talk more with Wavey, with Ashley and Kevin when we come back. Send your comments on the Annie Frey Show YouTube channel, and I'll see if I can feature some of those when we return. Don't go away.
One kid dreams. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. One kid helps pay the rent. One could end up.
Get with us. They're terrorists on the terrorist watch, and they are invading our country. You don't stop it by giving them a bus ticket. What kind of numbnut does that?
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
If you are looking to move to the state of Illinois, or if you're looking to move within Illinois, you need to know Jen Teskey. She is a friend of the show. She's a sponsor of the show, and she's waiting for your phone call or your text message, 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. Jen Teskey knows the Illinois side of the river. She understands how to get you top dollar for your home. She also has a whole host of buyers right now waiting to buy your home. So if you're going to sell, if you're looking to sell, if you're just thinking about selling, contact Jen Teskey and find out what your home is worth. Find out what you could get for it and see how quickly you could sell and make that money. 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. Jen Teskey sells with RE/MAX Alliance, and she's very experienced with the best staff in the business to help you through the process when it comes to photographing your home, giving you the advice on things that you should look at, things that you don't need to waste a penny spending on when you're looking to sell. She's got it all for you. And when you hire Jen Teskey, you get her whole team, and they're amazing at the job. Reach out to Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance by calling or texting 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
We've been here 30 years. 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Time to get ready for fall. Make sure your furnace is ready to safely heat your home when the first cold snap hits. For heating service, repairs, or a new HVAC system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're glad that you are here with us, especially right now, especially those individuals who have joined us here on the Annie Frey live chat, because you're seeing in studio 3 people who are running for Republicans for state offices in Illinois, and they want to make a difference. And I'll tell you what, these are not career politicians. Wavey, I'm going to just ask you real quick because we haven't talk to you about your background. How did you find yourself in St. Clair County? Wavey Lester is running for the Illinois State Senate District 57 against Christopher Belt. How'd you get here?
I'm an ex-military officer. So I came here by way of Scott Air Force Base.
Okay. And you were you from the Midwest? Were you from this area?
I'm a Texan. I'm originally from Houston, Texas.
And so you found yourself here because of Scott Air Force Base and you decided to stay.
Yeah. I got married and she's from O'Fallon. And so
we know the rest of that story. Trust me. I want to shift here to Ashley Hunsaker. She is running for the Illinois House District 113th. It's currently represented by Jay Hoffman. Real quick, I want you to tell that story you just told us on the break. I asked her off air. I said, "You think you can win this?" And she said, "Actually, yes." I said to her, "I said, do you know people who have voted for Jay Hoffman in the past who have said, I think maybe I'll vote for you?" Tell me that story again.
Yeah. So I was knocking doors, and this couple who they said that they have voted Democratic for their entire lives. They were phenomenal. But they asked me to come in, and the wife was standing beside the couch, and the husband was on the couch, and they're like, "Oh, she's going to ask you good questions." He's bouncing up and down on the couch, and she asked me some really tough questions, and I answered them just true to who I am and what I believe. And she said, "You know what? I'm so proud of you for not backing down for what you believe in." And man, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
I know. I told the story.
Illinois is
offline,
way
but-
scarier than this studio. My gosh, you can handle it. I've
Yes.
seen you in action.
Yes. And so, anyways, then after I answered all their questions, she said, "You know what? We have lived in this house for as long as Jay has been in office, and he has never once knocked on our door. And you came and asked us what we stand for, what are our top issues facing us." And she said, "We will definitely both be voting for you." And I was like, "Great, thank you." And then on my way out, I was like, "Can I pop a sign in your yard?" They're like, "That might be too much."
Don't push your luck, but Ashley will push for you. That's
Yes,
a good,
for sure.
good slogan. I want to ask you real quick too. You're a mom. You have 4 kids?
I have 4.
I was gonna say, do people think it's dozens? People think I have 47 kids.
Yeah.
Wavey's nodding affirmatively. Like, yeah,
It doesn't feel like
it's
that,
out of
though.
control. I totally relate to you. High five for being able to pull off the 4 thing. The parental consent, the parental responsibility compared to where the government in the state of Illinois has pushed over its limit. How important is that to voters right now?
Oh, it's super important, especially to mamas. So again, most of the time I try to be with my family when I'm knocking doors too. So usually 1 or 2 children are with me, sometimes all 4. But
as long as they're your 4, I think it's a win.
Right. And then most people are like, "Oh, you're a mom. We're so glad a mom is going to be speaking for us in Springfield," because, just many, many things, and specifically the parental consent, just having a minor go and get an abortion without the parent's notification.
It's unbelievable.
It absolutely is.
Missouri children, let's be real here. Missouri people can come to Illinois
Yes.
and not have to provide parental consent.
Yes.
Oh, Pritzker says, "Come one, come all."
Yeah, it is an industry they're investing in.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. It is a huge issue, Ashley. It's
It
a huge
is.
issue for me as a mother, and I am so glad to see that you are talking on this and being outspoken on it and being strong and taking that hopefully to Springfield for people in the 113th. Now let's shift over to Kevin Schmidt. Kevin Schmidt, also in St. Clair County, looking to take LaToya Greenwood down. Been there since 2017 is, I think, what my quick Google search showed. It's Wavey, you mentioned crime before, but Kevin, crime is a big deal for everybody. Of course, in the state of Illinois, it's a huge issue in the Chicago area and Cook County area, but it's an issue here as well. What is LaToya Greenwood, your opponent in this race? What is her connection to an issue we've covered a lot here on the show? The Safety Act, the No Cash Bail Act. What's LaToya Greenwood's responsibility with that bill?
Well, she's really proud of it. She co-sponsored it, voted yes on it. I believe she was so that act got the bare minimum amount of votes to pass.
All Democrats.
Yes.
At
And
midnight.
yes.
But not all the Democrats voted for it. And I want to
It's a bare minimum.
I want to interject here real quick because Katie Stewart, who is a Democrat representing the 112th, who is currently my representative, but they redistricted me out of her district. She voted no against this. And I thought it would be very valuable for Katie Stewart, a Democrat here, to come on this show and say why this bill should not have passed. She declined. And she said she was not interested in making the time to come here. So anyway.
So yeah, it has bipartisan opposition. Okay. So just to give you an idea, if one of us get in, we could repeal this thing. That's how
huge.
Yes. Tight it is. And it's the most unsafe bill you can think of. If you talk to prosecutors, talk to any law enforcement person, state's attorneys, they'll all tell you that it's a disaster and it's going to make our communities a lot less safe.
Yep.
And like Wavey said, that's a fundamental thing that we need to have is safety. If anything, I'm for small government, but they at least need to provide safety for us. And, more businesses will leave as a result of the Safety Act. More people will leave as a result of the Safety Act. And once again, it makes us less competitive.
Chris F. on YouTube here says, has the police union spoke out about this? I mean,
so the Fraternal Order of Police endorsed me. I know that.
And Darren Bailey.
Yes.
And Tom DeVore. They've come out and they've spoken against the Safety Act, and they've also spoken in favor of Republicans because the people who put the Safety Act in place are absolutely unacceptable for the safety of the state. And as you mentioned, state's attorney Kevin Schmidt, 100 out of 102 states of attorneys
Correct.
have said this Safety Act is bad and it needs to go away. There are not 100 Republican state's attorneys out of 102 in this state. That is an incredibly bipartisan group of people saying that this is a disaster for the state of Illinois.
Yes, and we need to repeal it. So, and just the fact that she Hoffman voted for it, Belt voted for it, Latoya voted for it, co-sponsored it.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's responsible for it.
Even if they try and say, "Oh, we're going to backpedal," well, they should have never voted for it in the first place.
Yeah.
It's a disaster, and we shouldn't have people in office with that ideology.
Yeah. 100%. Well, we got to go to a break here. We have Wavey Lester in studio with us, Ashley Hunsaker and Kevin Schmidt. You three are all doing wonderful things. You are up against the Democrat machine that has driven this state into the ground. It is a David and Goliath moment, but we know how that story turned out. You've got to be a part of the David side of this, and you've got to go to their websites. We featured them here on our broadcast on the live stream, but we're going to post some media from when we're done with this. Wavey website for people to sign up to volunteer and support you.
Wavey4senate.com.
Wavey, waveyforsenate.com. Ashley
4FORrep.com.
And that's Ashley ASHLEY.
Boring 1980s way.
The right way, Kevin.
And Schmidt4Illinois.com, just IL, Schmidt4IL.com.
Hey, folks, get involved, make a difference. Donate $10 today. It goes a long way. Be a part of the solution. Back in a minute. Don't go away.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Odyssey celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month and the trailblazers who made their mark worldwide. Desi Arnaz, Cuban-born actor, musician, and television producer, best known for the television sitcom I Love Lucy, also produced other successful shows like The Andy Griffith Show, The Dick Van Dyke Show, and Star Trek. Desi Arnaz helped define television in the United States, earning him a spot in the Television Academy's Hall of Fame. More on the Odyssey app, and celebrate the sounds and stories of Hispanic heritage at odyssey.com/HHM.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The White House says they're doing everything they can, at least to Brady.
Fox News.
The president has made lowering costs for the American people a priority, has made the economy a priority for the American people.
Spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre after a discouraging new poll for the president on the economy. The White House emphasizing job creation and efforts to lower prescription drug costs. Also sidestepping a question on whether the president thinks America's big cities are safe.
This is a president who has secured historic funding to make sure that law enforcement has what it needs.
Jean-Pierre says they inherited a rising crime rate from the previous administration. Republicans have made fighting crime a pillar of their midterm campaign platform. The president's efforts to ease student loan debt will increase the cost of those loans by an additional $400 billion. That's a new estimate from the Congressional Budget Office, responding to questions about the programs, including executive action canceling some debt. Evacuations underway in parts of Tampa and other areas along Florida's west coast as Hurricane Ian grows stronger, heading toward Cuba for now.
Tropical weather advisories are in place from the Florida Keys up Florida's west coast to Tampa. Current forecast models bring the storm to landfall between the Florida Panhandle and Tampa, but tropical conditions will continue to impact large portions of the state as the storm moves north just off the shore.
Fox meteorologist Adam Klotz, state and federal officials urging people to focus on being ready, not just for the high winds, but the storm surge. The FBI in Philadelphia says inaccurate claims are being made about the arrest of a pro-life advocate. A just released statement denies that any SWAT team was involved and says the arrest was made without incident when FBI agents knocked on the suspect's door, identified themselves, and asked him to exit the residence. America is listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
What you've heard about probiotics is probably wrong.
I eat yogurt, so I don't need to take a probiotic. Probiotics? They don't really work.
It's time to learn the truth about probiotics from Align, the probiotic brand recommended by gastroenterologists 2 times more than any other probiotic brand. Align has probiotics to naturally help relieve occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Try Align for a month and see how great a healthy gut can feel at AlignProbiotics.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Super duper weather on tap this afternoon. All about fall, sunshine in control. 72 for the high this afternoon. Tonight, clear and chilly, 45. Tuesday, sunny and nice, 72 degrees. We're in a log jam with a big high pressure system. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sunshine, 69, 70 for high temperatures for middle and end of the week. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey 97.1 listeners, it's Annie. I'm inviting you to come meet us in St. Charles this Wednesday, and be sure to bring the diapers. The Annie Frey Show is teaming up with Princess Storm's Diaper Drive from Hot 104.1. We'll be at Ruler Foods in St. Charles broadcasting the show live from noon to 3 and collecting diapers. They're going to be donated to the St. Louis Diaper Bank. Step up for those in need right here in our community. Come out and see us. It's the Annie Frey Show on location at Ruler Foods in St. Charles this Wednesday. If you're looking to get your hair cut, I would encourage you, gentlemen, to go to a place that respects what it means to be a man and that believes that men deserve a little bit better. When you go to hair salon, you're going to get treated like the gentleman that you are, treated to a wonderful haircut, one that you're going to be able to rely on every time you go to hair salon. You're going to get a complimentary shoe shine, a complimentary beverage, a hot towel and a mint, a great shampoo. You are going to enjoy the luxuries of being treated the way a gentleman, the way a man should be treated when they go to get their hair done, and with the reliability each and every time that the haircut's going to be spot on, perfect. You can go online and learn about the different treatments that they have. You can also schedule your appointment at hairsaloon.com. They have locations all across the St. Louis area, including on the Illinois side, and you can make your appointment by scheduling it right there on their website. You can learn about the products they have as well. Go to hairsaloon.com.
Mark Cox here. The next Protecting Your Retirement educational event is Tuesday, October 4th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. Seating's limited, so go online at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and concerned how all the market volatility is hurting your retirement accounts? Would you like to know why our clients have not lost a penny with all the market losses this year? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can now roll over your 401k tax-free to protect your nest egg and still generate more income than most investment options? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this last event of the year.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, October 4th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Call 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
Right now is the perfect time to call Zero Res to deep clean and refresh your carpets, air ducts, upholstery, and more. Call 314-474-2020. Get the Mark Reardon special. 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. 474-2020.
Anytime is a smart speaker time.
Hey Alexa, hey Siri.
Stream 97.1 by command. It's easy and it's free. 97.1 FM Talk. Right here, right now.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's Monday. We're glad that you're here spending some of your Monday afternoon with us. I have a box of diapers sitting next to me to remind you that this Wednesday, we will be at the St. Charles Ruler Foods broadcasting live from noon to 3, and we are hoping to get a whole host of people who listen to the show, who listen to the station, to come bring some diapers, just one package of diapers or whatever you can afford to donate for us to, on the Annie Frey Show, make a contribution to Princess Storm's diaper drive on Hot 104.1, our sister station just right down the hallway. She is working to collect diapers to donate to St. Louis families who need this kind of help and support. And this is the right way to step up and to put your time, your money where your mouth is and be a part of the solution. Yesterday, I spoke in front of the Hope Clinic for Women at a 40 Days for Life kickoff rally. Brad was out there with me. Ryan Wiggins came out and joined us as well. And had you ever been, Brad, to that area before, or were you familiar with it?
I was familiar with it. My mom used to work at the Taco Bell that's just up the road from there. And so I would drive past that Hope Clinic probably 2-3 times a week.
Did you know what it was?
Yes, because there was always protesters out front of it.
So it draws attention to it. So I know what the Hope Clinic for Women is, but I had never been to it before, and I had never taken in that specific facility. I know the Planned Parenthood that's in Fairview Heights, that's right off of 64, the new one that they built there, really just in time for many of these other surrounding states to be putting into place heartbeat bills. Then in the event Roe v. Wade went down, that this would be a destination for abortion, and in the state of Illinois. So we went out there. Did you count people? I think I said about 60, 65 people.
Yeah, 60, 65 seems about right. I was trying to count and film and do some other stuff. And yeah, after you counted 60, a few more people showed up. So I would say 65 is probably a pretty close estimate.
So we were out there. We were invited to participate by people who are running 40 Days for Life here in the area. And I have to say, when I was researching a little bit to put together some words to talk about, I know what abortion is. We all know what abortion is. We know that these facilities exist in our neighborhoods. And I, I was looking through some of the things on hopeclinic.com is the website. You can go look at it right now. And it was indicative to me of the battle that we're fighting politically, not just on this particular issue. It's across the board. So if you go to hopeclinic.com, the very first thing you see on the front of the website, it says, where there's choice, there's hope. It's a pretty awful thing. It's a pretty awful sentiment, but it's, surrounded by purple and pink, and it's surrounded by images of like flowers growing. It says Hope Clinic is committed to providing the highest quality medical and emotional abortion care with dignity and compassion. And one of the things that stuck out for me as I was going through this website, because listen, hopeclinic.com is selling abortions. That's what the website is for. They are working to present the most agreeable, accessible image that says, hey, you come here. We will take care of you. We've got you. This is where you're supposed to be. And to think about, I remember back in my advertising and marketing classes in college, like the age-old lesson is when you're talking about advertising to sell somebody a bottle of water, because water is accessible, at least here in this country, in this area. It's you got to really work to sell somebody water. Try selling something that is as controversial as abortion. The message that the Hope Clinic for Women, and people are commenting right now. I think, Hannah, you just put that comment up there on the page right now about just in general. GWIB says, why do they call it Hope Clinic? No hope for the fetus. Yep, obviously. You're right. But that's the marketing tactic. And while it is so obvious to people like you and me that this is a clinic that offers no hope, it's actually a clinic that says you only have one choice. Nobody in there is saying to you, well, here are your options. You could consider having this baby, and you could provide a child for a family that's looking to adopt a child. You could give this child hope for a future. You could take everything that's going on in your life, and you could raise this child and give this child the future that you wish that you had or are afraid of losing. This child could contribute to your future and give you new hope that you didn't have before. At the Hope Clinic for Women, you have one choice and only one determination, and that's abortion. And it seems to me to be so determinative to suggest that there is only one choice, and for the first thing to say is where there's choice, there's hope. They're not saying choice as in multiple options for you to choose for your future. What they're saying is where there's abortion, there's hope. There's no way around that. Nobody at the Hope Clinic inside that building is going to sow any seed of doubt in your mind that going in to have an abortion is one choice of multiple. It's the only choice. And the reason you know this is because they have a button there on their homepage, and it says counseling. So you're like, okay, the Hope Clinic offers counseling. That's interesting. Where there's choice, there's hope. They repeat this again. Hope Clinic has a team of staff members dedicated to helping patients address a variety of concerns, including emotional, psychological, social, and spiritual needs. The Department of Counseling and Education is run by a social worker and sexuality educator with specialized training in reproductive health. All counseling and education services provided by Hope Clinic are LGBTQIA+, affirming, and sex positive. It's interesting to look at the way they address these types of concerns on a place that suggests that where there's choice, there's hope. You know that they're telling you you only have one choice if you hope to have a future, and that's to have an abortion. And then to know that they would be offering counseling services for people who are post-abortion. That's a specific kind of counseling that they offer. Post-abortion counseling. Let me read for a second what they say about post-abortion counseling, because it seems to me if you're telling people you've only got one choice here and it's to have an abortion and this is how your future is going to remain intact is if you have an abortion, why would you need counseling after that? You listen to a lot of these people and they say this is an empowering thing. You as a woman have the right to choose what to do with your own body. Yes, I know the contradictions of what I'm saying and how you are feeling about it. I think those same things, but let's just look at what the other side is thinking and talking about here. Post-abortion counseling, according to hopeclinic.com. While most people who have abortions report feelings of relief, that does not mean that other feelings do not come up sometimes. In a society that makes people feel guilt and shame for choosing abortion, it can be hard to find a non-judgmental person to talk to about your feelings. Whether you are seeking additional support or want time to process and work through your experience with and feelings associated with abortion and pregnancy, this type of counseling might just be for you. This is a short-term counseling service and is available to people who have had abortions. So generous of them to provide non-judgmental counseling services for a short-term basis. I mean, short-term counseling, telling you ahead of time, Brad, you're a pastor, so you do counseling. I'm sure it's of a variety of kinds. But to offer short-term counseling for people who are post-abortion, and in their words, they never even list here that you might regret your decisions. They are telling you that the world is judgmental. They will make you feel guilt and shame. They're here to provide you a short-term solution so that you are guarded from that.
They're admitting that you're going to regret it. They're not saying it as much, but that's what they're admitting, because that guilt and that shame isn't from the world. That comes from within. That comes from like an understanding of what has happened and what is going on. That's not people putting that on you. That's coming from within. That's an understanding of your own self and what has happened. And yes, you need counseling after that because this is a traumatic event. And I'm actually kind of surprised that they're even admitting that this is some sort of traumatic event, because it seems like when you watch, the news, you watch people on social media and stuff like that, they want to celebrate it. Like you said, it's some sort of big empowering thing. And the reality of it is it's not. I mean, there's something biological that happens with a mother and the connection to her child, and you need to have that counseling. But they don't. Short term. How long did they say it was? Like 48 hours?
This is short-term counseling services.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that I'm sure if you spoke with somebody who has had an abortion, they have carried this with them their entire lives.
I'm going to tell you this right now too. You know people very well who have had abortions who have never admitted to anybody that they've had abortions. That's what I want to highlight here. Hopeclinic.com is the website. I'm reading it straight from here. And this is where we were yesterday. They're closed on Sundays. We had a peaceful rally/protest, I guess, outside of the Hope Clinic. And there's a huge window of opportunity that they're showing right now. They're showing their cards boldly in this paragraph because they say, in a society that makes people feel guilt and shame for choosing abortion, it can be hard to find a non-judgmental person to talk to about your feelings. That's the whole deal. Their entire premise for being able to sell abortion to people is to say, let me define for you, anybody who's opposed to this, let me define to you what those people are, all of them. And don't even approach those individuals because I can tell you what they're all like to begin with. It's simply not true that all people who are pro-life are like that. There are pro-life people who are judgmental. There are pro-life people who will push guilt and shame. There are pro-life people who, in an effort to try to defend against abortion, will talk about all of the choices that the woman should have made before she found herself in a position where she's pregnant. I mean, yeah, that woman could have made different choices, but she didn't get pregnant by herself. And the woman bears the responsibility. And yes, the shame potentially, if she chooses to feel shame or if she's made to feel shameful when she gets pregnant, and maybe it's with a man who isn't around, maybe it was a one-night stand, maybe it was a situation where the man isn't necessarily a savory character that she wants to have in her life or that the family or friends want this woman to have in her life. But he is as responsible for that as she is, but she's the one who bears the shame. Which is why on this particular issue, but folks, I'm talking about all political issues. If we're always going to so easily be labeled as judgmental people who wish to push guilt and shame on people who don't live lives according to the rosy factor that the American dream might make you think that you should be striving for, if they get away with that, then we lose and we never even get to talk about why we are pro-life to begin with. And we never get the opportunity to share our understanding of what hope is to these individuals. They're never going to talk to us because people go to the Hope Clinic in a shroud of darkness, in quiet. They don't want anyone to know about it. I'm telling you right now, there are people in your life who are incredibly conservative, who are faithful, church-going Christian people who have had abortions and they've never told anybody about the fact that they went through that. There are all kinds who have sought out this type of service because in the moment they felt shame. The only way to beat this is to welcome these people and to make them feel as though that shame is not theirs to bear, and to make sure that they understand that you are part of a solution for them. You are part of a solution for the baby that does truly exist. We know that. We are part of an answer to a problem that does exist that is unfairly the burden of the woman in the equation of man plus woman equals baby. The woman does bear more responsibility for that. You cannot scientifically disagree with that. We have to be aggressive in our willingness to be the side of this issue that is non-judgmental, that has thoughts and opinions, strong ones, but is able to articulate them in ways that is inviting, that is willing to listen, not to preach, that is willing to sit down and let those emotions and those feelings of anger and shame exist, but know that there is hope after those, when the baby doesn't have to be killed in the process. Ryan, you were out there and you got to see the people who showed up at this event. Had you ever been to the Hope Clinic before? Did you know that was there?
I knew about where it was, but the building is rather unassuming, and I've always approached it from the back like we were at. So I've never seen the sign out front. So I did not realize that building I'd passed several times was the Hope Clinic.
And it's just, I mean, to me, it's so, for me, I drove from my home to the Hope Clinic and I had on lullaby music because Molly had been in there and I was writing down notes and I just left it playing. But it was on very quietly. It was a very quiet car ride and it was a beautiful day. And I was driving that drive to the Hope Clinic knowing that my destination was an abortion facility. And I was thinking to myself how many women have made that drive alone in the car, broken, knowing where they were about to go and knowing what they were about to do. I think some women don't fully understand it, but I think most women know, and I think they push away because it's so easy to do it because there's so many people advocating for you to not feel the feelings that you're actually having. Even their counseling services, Ryan, push away feelings. So their initial sentence is that, most people do feel relief when they have an abortion. So the suggestion that you haven't felt relief, maybe then you might need counseling. What's the end goal there? That you feel relieved? Because if you have an end goal in counseling, is that really counseling?
Yeah, that phrase that you read about non-judgmental counseling, that's to get somebody just through an abortion. They don't really care about you long term. But second, those trucks that are outside of abortion facilities, and they're different by state, but they're usually offering ultrasounds and things like that. Those are some of them. I've met a lot of those people. Those are some of the most non-judgmental people I've ever met, and they actually take heat for being non-judgmental. They are very non-judgmental.
But they take heat from whom?
From the right. They take heat from people who say you need to be telling them the truth more. And they say, we're there just because at that moment in time, whatever led up to then, it's different for everybody. But at that moment in time, that woman's very, very in a sensitive spot. And so we're just going to be there to offer health care and to offer the idea that this is a baby, and very, very non-judgmentally. And I'm glad that they do that. And there was a lot of those people that were there yesterday have been a part of ministries like that or organizations like that. Those people are not judgmental. They disagree with you, or they disagree with the premise of abortion, but that's not judgmental. That's a completely different thing.
Mm. When we come back, I'm going to ask Ryan and Brad about the role, and I don't know what their answer is to this, but their role, the role of men and where they should speak and how they should speak and should they even speak on this issue. So we'll talk to Ryan and Brad about that. I want to know what you think as well. For the men who are watching and listening, if you're on our Annie Frey YouTube channel and you haven't voted yet in the YouTube poll, I'll tell you about that here in a second. But how should men speak on this issue? Should men speak up on this issue, or should men, air quotes, know their role and keep quiet on this issue? Women, I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on that as well. The YouTube live chat poll, will the GOP's commitment to America make a positive difference for Republicans in the midterm? Hannah's going to give us the results on that in about 20 minutes or so. So get your vote in, leave your comments. More on this issue when we come back. Don't go away.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. 97.1, your continuing home of free speech in St. Louis.
It's free and fair.
97.1 FM Talk.
Keep it locked in right here.
The place for discussion. The place for ideas.
Man, can you believe at the end of this week, it's going to be October? Well, if you're looking at the end of the year and realizing it's closer than it seems, it may be time to use your benefits, your dental benefits for sure. Fountains Family Dentistry can walk you through what you have available. Just give them a call and talk to Steve. That's what's nice, is that if you have insurance, they can walk you through all the things I talk about, whether you're getting teeth whitening or a dental apnea device or just a teeth cleaning. They can walk you through what that's going to cost. In a lot of cases, especially with the teeth cleaning, it's going to be free because it's covered. If you don't have insurance, they have new patient specials. So you should check all of that out at fountainsfamilydentistry.com and just give them a call. And like I said, they'll talk through it with you. You're going to love their office when you do have an appointment because they are so friendly and they're convenient. They get you in, they get you out. They know that it's something you just got to do. It's not something you're looking forward to making your dental appointment, but you do have to do it. So if you're on the Illinois side, easy to get to, even from the Missouri side, right off of Highway 64 and 159, fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomeStLouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com or call 314-782-8000.
Why are some people afraid to enjoy their retirement? And why are some people so worried about spending money during their golden years? Maybe it's because they're afraid of running out of money. Maybe they're afraid of depleting their nest egg, either through spending too much or through investment strategies that could result in losses. Hi, my name is Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Do you have a fear of depleting your savings and running out of money too soon? Let me help put your mind at ease. I can help you create an optimal retirement income distribution strategy that helps to maximize income from your retirement savings and eliminate your fear of running out of money. Call 314-328-6000 today and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Attention veterans. If you were stationed at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987,
You and your family may be victims of toxic water poisoning. Cancers, birth defects, deadly illnesses have all been linked to the contaminated water. Congress is now holding the government accountable. You could be awarded financial compensation for your suffering, but you must act now. Visit sickvets.com for your free case review by True Law. That's sickvets, like veterans.com. Sickvets.com. Visit sickvets.com.
Mark Cox here with a real estate update and insight from my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria says, look, sitting on the sidelines may not be the best strategy moving forward in a continually shifting market. Homes aren't selling as fast, and in most cases, price reductions are becoming pretty common. Gloria also says that earlier this year, with low inventory, sellers didn't need a strategy to sell because homes were listed and sold immediately. Now more than ever, though, it is crucial to have a proven strategy to get your home sold. That's why I strongly suggest you call Gloria Liu before you list your home to get the absolute most money. Get this, Gloria is so confident she'll sell your home, she will guarantee in writing up front to sell it at your agreed to price and time frame, or she will buy it. Call her at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
ChiliChili.com.
Change, change, change. Change, change, change. Change, change, change. Change, change, change. Change, change, change.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back. Are we reading these comments? Did I read it on there?
I haven't looked the overall. It's like a 3-part comment, but I want to look over it before I say for sure.
Well, I'll reset the table here. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Yesterday, I spoke at the Hope Clinic for Women, maybe inappropriately named Hope Clinic. Hope for whom? I think that's the question here. We would like to stop abortion. And is that a controversial thing to say? Oddly, yes, it is. I said going into the break that I'd be interested to know what your comments are on this issue. And I want to ask Ryan and Brad what they think a man's responsibility on this issue should be. Should they speak up? Should they be vocal? Should they be quiet? Dan on YouTube says a man should definitely have a voice in abortion. I had a girlfriend who I got pregnant when we were 18. I wanted the baby and was excited to have a child with her. I was in love. Her mom convinced her to have an abortion while I was at school, and I had no idea she was doing that during school hours. After school, my girlfriend told me, and I was heartbroken. I feel guilty to this day for something I didn't approve of. I do believe that this is an issue that I think men should speak on, but I'm gonna let you guys answer this question before I react to it. Ryan, you can go first, because a lot of people will say if you don't have a uterus, you're not supposed to comment on this. But then I check my notes and realize that you don't even have to have a uterus to be a woman. So
good point. I think it depends on the issue too, because if you're talking about it from a political standpoint, you're talking about it from a personal standpoint, like Dan is right now. There's a place for a man. It's just a different place than a woman. And those things do intersect in politics. And I think people yell, you can't talk about this, at people who are talking about it in the broad political sense. But men do have a place in this whole thing. Now, I will kind of flip that around and say also, though, that I personally believe that women actually do have a stronger testimony on abortion than men do. But it doesn't mean that men can't speak about it. It's ridiculous to say nobody can have an opinion on anything.
I would say that men need to step up and speak up, and not from the sense that, if you're pro-life, you are recognizing that this is the life of a child. This is a real baby. And as a man, and at least speaking for me, Ryan, I can't speak for you because I don't know, but I think you would agree with me. I have this desire to be a protector. I want to stand in the gap, and I want to protect those that can't protect themselves. Especially in the case of Dan, if this were my child and my wife or whatever, I would feel like I need to stand up for my kid and protect them from harm. And so whenever people are like, well, you can't talk about that. And it's like, I absolutely can, because I can play 50% of the part in creation of this child. It doesn't happen without a guy. And that guy has just as much to say, even if the wife or the woman has to bear, like you were saying, biologically, a bigger responsibility. Once a guy gets a girl pregnant, there's zero risk to him from any sort of medical thing due to that pregnancy. The woman bears all that responsibility, but it's still his kid. It's still his responsibility. It's still like, once that baby's born, he has to step up and take care of it and make sure that the kid is raised correctly and all of this other stuff provided for. To say that you can't have a say in it whenever you have to protect life is just a way, to me, it's just a way of shutting down conversation, shutting down arguments, so that you don't have to debate one more person. If you can get those people to shut up, then you only have to convince women.
Isn't it kind of a cop-out to say, I shouldn't speak on this issue because I'm not a woman?
Yes.
Heck yes, it is. Because it's a deeply divisive moral issue. So that's why a lot of people, men in particular, will say, you know what? I'm just going to step back away from this because you told me I could. Well, society told me that I shouldn't speak about this, so I'm just not going to.
And I would say there's probably a certain group of men out there that are going to take what Ryan said. It's like, I'm just going to step out of this, but secretly they want this to be a thing so they can like sleep with whoever they want without consequences.
There's nothing more empowering to men who want to sleep around without consequence than women who can sleep around without consequence.
I think of several high-profile people that whenever the Roe decision came down, they kind of lost their minds. It's like, you're just trying to get away with, being able to sleep with somebody and not have any repercussions.
And what drives me crazy is when men couch it in feminism. That's ridiculous. We know what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying no men do take that angle, but there's a whole lot of men.
What do you mean? Give me an example.
From the barstool angle of, hey, you know what? On this issue, all of a sudden I'm a feminist.
You're talking about Dave Portnoy.
Well,
or
kind of. I'm talking about him, but I'm talking about broadly
Dave
the
Portnoy
dudes.
was one of the guys who came out after Roe v. Wade and boldly was like, this is ridiculous. Women should be able to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Dave, this is not subtle. This is not discreet. And to push the issue, I mean, there is an imbalance. Agree with me or disagree with me here. There's an imbalance on burden of responsibility in the free love movement that shifts the heavy lifting onto the woman and excuses the man from consequenced behavior.
I would say absolutely, because like what the free love movement does is it completely removes the responsibility, the linking of two people through marriage. It removes that from the situation, removes that from the equation. And so really all the guy has to do legally is like, here's some child support and I'm done with this. And they can walk away and that kid is not his problem anymore.
Ryan, would you say that the burden is imbalanced and heavily shouldered by the woman in a free sex, free love society that we absolutely live in? That let's be real, our parents' generation made this come to be, and it has evolved into what it is right now. And honestly, like, how much of that was pushed in the name of feminism? Would you say that the burden is more on women than men because of?
I would absolutely say that.
Would you say that the people who have the biggest interest in that are men?
Men who are living that lifestyle, yes. Who are living the free love lifestyle.
The people who benefit the most from consequence-free sex lives are men. Because the burden of a connection between a man and a woman that results in a child is only the woman's to bear if the man wants to make it that way. They just get to make a decision. So the only way to level that playing field is to give that same choice to a woman. But that choice has to be to end a life. And that still is indisputably unfair.
Yes.
That the leveling of a playing field, to what end? To have consequence-free sex. The ending of this imbalance means you have to remove the consequence from women the same way men have removed, and society has agreeably removed that consequence from men. Results in women who have to, and I cannot stress this enough, there are people in your life who are advocate, pro-life supporters that you know and you love that you don't realize have had abortions. And I say this because if they ever came to you and told you, if they broke down to you and told you, I've had an abortion, for a minute, you're going to be like, no, not you. That's how strong this industry is. And that's how scary it can be to face the world with an unplanned pregnancy that is going to turn your world upside down, maybe make it better than you could have ever possibly dreamed that it would be. That the society that we live in right now, to what end? Consequence-free sex. That's it. That's the only end. That's the only goal. Abortion is justified and validated to make that happen for men and women, but mostly men.
It's amazing how much the left, and I am very much categorizing here, the left wants to remove consequences from everybody for everything. They want you to be able to do everything you can with no consequences. Yes, crime. They want you to be able to spend like it's going out of style and have no debt. I mean, across the board.
Not have a job.
They don't care if you have a job. They actually would prefer if you don't, because then you're relying on them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you stop and you think about this, what is the end game of all of that? And I would say it's to maintain power. So what they're doing is they're appealing to your basal human desires. Whatever you want, we'll give you whatever you want. So you be happy. Therefore, you vote for me and you keep me in charge. That seems to be their pitch. And I've heard that pitch one other time.
And it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild to think about how much of a Stockholm syndrome so many Democrat voters are existing in right now. If you broke it down, like to suggest that you would go against the Democratic Party. I mean, Wavey Lester was in here. He's a black Republican. He's running to be in the state Senate. If you think that you want change in the Illinois State Senate District 57, Wavey's your guy. He's a good human being. Personally, I know him. He would be fantastic as a state senator. When you think about him talking about how he goes out to tell people, yeah, well, I happen to be a Republican, and he's a black guy. So they say to him, like, what? You wait, how? If you can cut through that initial assumption and actually get down to talking about issues, many people will find out, wow, I don't really think I am what I've been calling myself for this whole time. But very few people take the time that Wavey Lester is taking to go have those conversations and challenge other people who are willing to give their time to Wavey to have that discussion, to say, what does what represents me stand for? The Democratic Party has a huge vested interest in making sure nobody asks those questions. The Republican Party is asked those questions every minute of every day from people within their own party, the media, from other politicians. The Republican Party is always at the ready with an answer to those questions because that's all they ever get asked. The Democratic Party just wants to make sure that you know that they're the racists, that they're Hitler-esque, that they're Nazi-esque. I mean, like, it's really that simple for the Democratic Party.
It is, and the left also wants that debate to not even happen. They're shutting us all down on social media. They're making sure that those conversations are harder than ever to have, or if you're having them, maybe we'll just throttle you, make sure less people are seeing you. That is entirely a philosophy that comes from the left and not the right.
Mm-hmm. It's all about messaging. Brian on YouTube says, I think we have learned so much in the past 30 years about how developed a baby is by 11 to 12 weeks. Growing up, the MTV generation was being brainwashed that abortion was just removing tissue, not a life. Brian, you go to hopeclinic.com right now. They talk about removing pregnancy tissue up to 16 weeks. It's a baby. It's undeniably a baby. And everybody knows it, which is why they won't even talk about it anymore. They just want to make sure that you understand if you're considering an abortion or if you're just scared and threatened and hurt and ashamed because of the situation that you're in, that another person put you in, that you're in equally, but yes, as a woman, you're bearing that responsibility potentially alone. They want to make sure at the Hope Clinic that you know that anybody who tells you anything different than we do, and by the way, we sell hope for a living. It's in our name. Just look. They want to make sure that you understand that those are judgmental people and that any guilt and shame that you're feeling, anything outside of relief, well, they're doing that to you. They are. Mostly because at the end, they just care about your vote. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Hannah, give us some results to the YouTube live chat poll. Will the GOP's commitment to America make a positive difference for Republicans in the midterms? Yes or no? Go give us a vote. Leave a comment. Hannah will highlight them when we come back here on the Annie Frey Show.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. The Mark Bearden Show.
Ted Nugent with us. They're terrorists on the terrorist watch, and they are invading our country. You don't stop it by giving them a bus ticket. What kind of numbnut does that?
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
cajonesinc.com. I want you to go check out their website and look at some of their buildable plans that they have for you to check out your new home that they can build for you in Illinois. I also want to remind you that C.A. Jones has partnered with us to help collect diapers for the Princess Storm Diaper Drive. Princess Storm, our sister station, Hot 104.1, is collecting diapers to help St. Louis families in need, and we want to be a part of that solution. C.A. Jones in Fairview Heights on Lincoln Trail has said, bring us your diapers and we'll get them to the diaper drive. So you can drop them off today and tomorrow at C.A. Jones in Fairview Heights and be a part of the solution. We would love to collect as many diapers as we possibly can. Now, if you're looking to build a home on the Illinois side of the river, go with the home builder who is dedicated to the details that you want in your next home. You can, like I said, check out the buildable plans that are there, but you can also see all of the different kinds of customizations that you can make to that home to make sure that it is yours, that it is unique to you, and that it has the things that you need right where you want them. C.A. Jones builds energy efficient homes. They have warranties that go along with their home builds. They're going to give you the confidence you need to choose C.A. Jones for your next home build. cajonesinc.com.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
We are all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. September is World Ozone Month, so it's a great month to get rid of all your aerosol sprays and harsh cleaning products. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 4.75% fixed?
Our low mortgage rates make you the winner.
Call 314-567-GOLD to lock in your 4.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 4.75% fixed, 5.929% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get your HVAC system ready for fall with a heating system check included with all maintenance plans starting at $15 a month. For details and to get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Up to the minute traffic reports, so you don't have to keep looking at your phone. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. You guys paying attention to Hurricane Ian at all?
Yes, I am, because I'm going out of town soon, and it might be right where I'm going.
Are you going to Florida?
No, but I'm going to southern Georgia.
Southeastern Georgia?
Thereabouts.
Tell us the exact location of the hotel you're staying.
I'll give you the address of my friend.
When you're going this weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, and so
that's when it's supposed to hit.
That's exactly when it's supposed to hit.
I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't say that the way I would normally talk to you. I mean, honestly, that's supposed to, because I'm paying attention close to Hurricane Ian because my family, my husband's brother and his sister and my two nephews and niece live in Jacksonville. And Jacksonville is right up on the northeastern part of Florida, which is right by the Georgia border. And I've been watching that, and I think it's supposed to hit Friday.
Wow.
My friend who I'm going to visit is a meteorologist. Are you saying you're better than him?
It depends which meteorologist.
My aunt was actually supposed to go down there. She does a yearly trip down there, and they do some painting and stuff with some friends, and we usually have to dog sit, and they have canceled their yearly Florida trip for the first time in 20 years.
So what are you going to do? Like, are you on standby? Or you go no matter what? What are you thinking?
I think we're probably going to go no matter what.
Vacation.
Yeah, it's vacation. So I don't know. It'll really depend on what my friend says, because like I said, he's watching it very closely because that's his job. If he tells us this absolutely should not happen, then we won't go.
He lives there?
Yeah, outside of Atlanta.
Okay. I'm fascinated by hurricanes, but it's like a legit real deal. And this is since they've lived in the Jacksonville area, there haven't been. When was the last big one?
Gosh, it's hard to remember.
Oh, yeah.
There was the one that was supposed to hit, and then it didn't.
It just didn't. Yeah.
Or it did. It hit actually, I think, more north, like the Carolinas or something. But I pay attention to it differently. When you have people there, you're obviously, Ryan, have a personal interest in it since you're headed that direction. You time that poorly.
I'm looking at the forecast going, even if it doesn't hit exactly where we're going, it's just going to rain the whole time we're there. And we were planning on going outside and maybe doing some tubing. That ain't going to happen.
My cousin.
Maybe you can in the street.
That's a positive. I always like that you have a positive
outlook. That's not
on
positive.
things.
That's negative. That would be bad. Just for the record, for the rest of the people who may or may not have.
Well, I'll take a CDR anyway.
Misunderstood me. No kidding. Pool's still open, by the way.
Okay.
What were you going to say, Hannah?
My cousin's vacation got canceled from Hurricane Fiona, which hit the Dominican Republic. So hurricanes everywhere, man.
Puerto Rico is taking an absolute beating, right?
Yeah, they'll be like, it decimated it. And then the next year, they're like, it decimated it. And then like, that's a lot of decimation.
You're only taking a tenth off at a time.
It's
so
not good. I always wonder, I know how the country reacts to like hurricanes. You just sit there and it's just like watching a train wreck or gawking past a car accident. You're just watching. And there's so much like the poor sap who's got to stand out there and be like, it's really windy outside and the rain is when he gets hit by a trash can. It's like, wow, I didn't think this was serious until the trash can smacked you in the face. I don't understand those people. I don't understand the networks that do that. I am interested in hurricane coverage. I always start watching it thinking this is the stupidest thing ever. And then like 3 hours pass and I'm watching the same thing.
Yeah.
I can't stop watching it, which is why they put these poor saps out there.
Okay.
It's my fault.
Let's clear up. They're not putting these poor saps out there. Those people love that. They are looking for a spot where maybe it's not quite a category 1 or 2. They're just looking for that perfect spot where it's just windy enough that they're having trouble standing up, but it's not going to get more dangerous than that. There's a sweet spot that's where all of them are.
Lorraine on Facebook says, I'm a longstanding fan who listens every day, who just recently moved to Punta Gorda, Florida, right in the path of the storm.
Oh.
Lorraine, we're praying for you. And I do hope it is a womp womp, misses just as a rainstorm, and we'll get past it. We're going to keep talking about it, though. I'm interested in it. I'm watching it because of my family in Jacksonville, and I hope that it turns into a disappointing media event. Let's put it that way. And a storm that Florida knows how to handle these things and is in good hands for sure. Let's get to the results of the YouTube live chat poll.
All right, the YouTube poll question today is, will the GOP commitment to America make a positive difference for Republicans in the midterm?
Brad?
Yes or no?
Brad, yes or no?
Yeah, I think it will.
Ryan?
No.
No? I'd say yes.
I say yes as well. So do 82% of the people who voted in the poll. So
we win.
They think it'll have a positive difference.
We know polls are always right. So.
Yeah. Well, ours are
82%
sciencey.
say no. Some quick comments really quick. David says GOP talk is weak.
Oops, sorry.
Because they seem to never follow through or lead when it's important for America. So no, we the people will vote, and not because of anything the GOP says. Another comment really quick. Bob to you says, I voted yes, but I'm concerned this plan has come too late and won't be effective. They should have been running on this since June.
Real quick before we go, did you guys turn on the news today and be like, oh, it looks like the Democrats suck again? Like, according to the media.
I've been seeing that for a couple weeks in the polling anyway. I don't know.
I'm not talking about the polling.
All right,
I'm talking about the news.
I noticed
Do
that.
you know, Brad?
I know when I was pulling audio, I was like, oh,
Like the
they're
last
not high on the Democrats anymore.
2 to 3 weeks, they've been like, oh, the Democrats are surging in the polls. The Democrats might make a play. It's not going to be a red wave. This morning, it was like, nope, they suck again. And I was like, sweet. Anyway, let's talk to Mark Reardon. Don't go away.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to